This is the Renaissance Men Podcast, broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch. Now please welcome your host, Stuart Garrard.
Good evening and welcome to the Renaissance Men Podcast for April 22nd. I am your host, Stuart Garrard, and joining me, as always, is the pruned, quaifed. I don't know what the words are, but
Queefed?
Yeah, that's it. Queefed.
That's not the word.
No, but anyway, here's Jimmy the Saint. Jimmy, how are you?
Yeah. There they are. There's my kids. There's my kids. As Savile used to say, I'm good. I am good.
Quickly on Savile, did you know Steve Coogan is going to play Jimmy Savile in a drama series, on a BBC drama?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be weird.
I know.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah. But anyway, how are you, Jimmy? How's your week been, my friends?
It's been a weird week because obviously we had that big old bank holiday, didn't we? We had that big old bank holiday weekend, and we had that was fun. We had the in-laws all over. My wife's parents and sister and brother-in-law. We had a lot of prosecco. The in-laws put a pair of bunk beds together. Oh. That was really handy. Basically, it was like having a troop of workers round. My mother-in-law was sat outside looking after the kids. The father-in-law and brother-in-law, our listener of the show, Carl, was upstairs putting bunk beds together.
I have images of like an Amish barn raising.
It was. Everyone grew weird beards.
Yeah,
like that. And my wife made a lovely big roast for everyone. It was a lovely weekend. I went to the tattoo shop as well, of course. It's squeezed a tattoo in. Mm-hmm. For people out there who like a bit of Star Wars.
There we go. That is what a droid from Jabba's palace.
Oh yeah.
Latterly, Boba's palace.
Yep. 8D8 torture droid.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, squeezed a bit of work in.
Oh, good. That's good of you.
Squeezed a little bit of work in, just in case the bosses are listening. But that was it. It's been a busy one.
I like to think your bosses monitor your workload from what you get up to in this brief 10-minute chat we have at the beginning of this. It's always nice to put in that you do some work.
Yeah, well
done you.
At the end of last year when I had my my review, my professional review from my boss, they did bring quotes on from the show.
You said such and such. Is that true?
Yes. On March 15th, 2021. You said you left the office slightly early to do this.
Well, quite right, to be honest with you, mate. Quite right.
Agreed. How about yourself?
It's that age-old tradition where you have a week off and then you have to return to work. It's that horrendous week after you've been on leave. So everything feels twice as long. Your time at work feels twice as long. But we got through it. Other than that, it's been a fairly standard week, to be honest. Benji's still off school. So the kids are still off school up in Suffolk. So he's had a merry old time with his mum and going to his nana's and to a few days in nursery. But yeah, he's had a great time. Wow. Played far too many hours into Fortnite this week. That boy, I'm getting a bit concerned. But yeah, he's going pro next week.
Is Fortnite quite a violent game?
It is. Yeah, essentially, you are shotgunning little people in the face. So
right, yeah. Because my son came into the kitchen earlier, my 7-year-old, and was telling me about xenomorphs and predators and chest busters, and when they die, their acid goes on people. And I was like, I mean, that's all accurate. But
how does he know this though?
Well, I don't know. My wife was going, "What the hell is this?" But I think on Fortnite they've released alien skins and
they have,
xenomorph and Ripley skins, and I guess Predator as well. And he watches YouTube constantly, and you can try and monitor all they want, but eventually you don't. You eventually don't care. Yeah.
I think we've got to that conclusion fairly quickly, though. To be fair, I mean he's only 5.
Yeah.
But they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to find ways. It's incredible. He can just turn on TV, PlayStation, and whatever, navigate to YouTube like quicker than me. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. The kids these days and how they can use tech. But no, other than that, mate, we're good. But I'm just happy to be here with you to enjoy some highbrow conversation. I think it's fair to say, don't you? Highbrow.
Very. You wait till Can the Past Make Us Laugh?
And a cracker of a and finally story for you all. But that's to come. Let's welcome good old Holly in the chat. Hello, Holly. How are you? Some questions, as always, coming up from Holly soon. So if you are here for the first time, then please don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. But with that being said, it's time for us to answer some of our audience questions.
Ask us anything.
There we go. It sound all right? All
Perfect.
Good. Tickety boo. Our first question is it's a change of pace. It's not from Holly. It's from Tom Rogerson.
Yes, he actually messaged just before. He said, "I'm sending a question because I'm sick of Holly getting all of the airtime." He actually said that.
Yes. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Thank you for your question, Tom. And it is. There's a rumor that The Rock is going to run for president as a Republican to try and block another Donald Trump run, I assume. What do you think of this? We're getting political on the Renaissance Men.
Yeah. Well, we're the guys. We're the guys to get political, aren't we?
There we are, yeah.
Stu, why don't you go with this first, bud?
What do I think of The Rock running for... Well, is Donald Trump allowed to go again? I don't know. Don't they have like strange rules over in the States?
No, he can. He's going to go. He can go again. I think he did get impeached, didn't he? But he can still run.
Right.
Yeah.
So he can have another go at it. One of my days. God help us. Okay. Well, yeah. Rock, please save us all. I guess is what we want here. I think. Yeah. Surely that's good all round. But saying that, do we want another celebrity head of state in the US? I'm not sure we do. I mean, I don't know. I don't live in America. I don't know quite how Joe Biden has been taken to the heart of their nation, but he seems to be doing an okay job. I don't know. Tell us if you're American, how's he doing? But
Stu,
is he not doing well?
Look, hey, I'm no Trump supporter, but there weren't a war in Ukraine when Trump was here, Stu.
Well,
there wouldn't have been, point. I don't think.
Yeah, he does seem when I say he, Joe Biden does seem a bit mumbly bumbly. I guess the term I would use a bit.
Yeah, well, that's a famous term, mumbly bumbly, isn't it? Did you see the video of him the other day trying to get off walk away from his podium?
Yeah, just
can we show that on the show?
Yeah, I think I can key that up if I can.
I hadn't seen that till I went round to my dad's. My dad's always been a massive liberal, huge. But as he's got older, and I think as the liberals, have got a bit, both parties have sort of gone like that rather than coming together, haven't they? They've both gone further and further, and yeah.
I'm just looking at some of these videos. Joe Biden appears to shake hands with thin air. My dad was, I think, quite happy when Trump got in to go. Just let's see what happens. Let's just get something else. And also when you found out all the stuff that Hillary had actually done, Clinton had done. There wasn't. When is there ever a good candidate? When was there, apart from Obama, who was clearly very smart and a good talker, but again, I'm not clued up enough to know exactly what everyone's done, so I wouldn't like to put my name to him. But I do know that is a really old 77-year-old man, really struggling. It's like when oh God, hello, anyone there? Yeah. Leslie Nielsen, if he ever played, or I'm sure he's played the president in his day. Before he passed.
One of the Scary Movie films he's president.
Okay, it's like that, isn't it? It's like he's like a Leslie Nielsen version of the US president. Look at him.
Yeah, behind Barack, just like killing
Acknowledge me.
He's shaking out his hat. Look at him.
High-fiving everyone. A sad Joe Biden behind him.
Yeah. Look, stop it, you. Stop it. Nah, man, I'm shaking hands.
That's funny. Bless
Yeah.
him. I want to bring up the one where he's shaking thin air, the hand of thin air.
Yeah. And I was very happy when he got in, but now there is
finger guns, pew pew. There we go.
And he said something ridiculous. I've heard it the other day. He said, "Oh, we definitely sort of want Putin out," i.e., like threatening, basically, and like all of his government were like, "No, he didn't mean that. That's not what we're saying." He's like, "Oh yeah, I got confused."
A lot of, I mean, speaking of Putin, a lot of people think, speculating that he might have like Parkinson's or something. So on one side, you've got, someone in charge of a vast array of nuclear weapons with allegedly Parkinson's or potentially Parkinson's. On the other side, you've got another massive nuclear state, and he's just like shaking the hand of thin air, and just stumbling around press conferences. So, and then of course we've got Boris there in the middle. So, what could possibly go wrong?
God, talk about that fucking moron.
It's like what could possibly go wrong?
So, in regards to The Rock, yes. I'm all for it. I'm all for it because he's come from nothing, didn't he? Yep. He's come from like not having a penny to his name, and he's worked his absolute arse off. He's clearly a smart guy. Does he know a lot about foreign policies or whatever? But he'll be advised. But I think he's someone who could come up with logical decisions that are best for people.
Yeah.
That said, sometimes they're not always the best decisions, but you got to have someone. I'm all for The Rock becoming president. Why not? Ronald Reagan was an actor, wasn't he? Like,
yeah. The more you're talking, the more I'm entirely convinced that it's going to happen and it'll be a good thing for the world. I wonder if like Vince will like bankroll him to any degree. I know he's a huge Republican himself.
Yeah, God, yeah, he would, because he'd love to be president, wouldn't he?
Oh, Vince would, yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is in the TV show Young Rock.
Yes.
You haven't seen that yet, have you?
I haven't, no, but I think it's returned for another series, I believe. I'm sure I saw that advertised somewhere.
New series has just come out on Disney Disney Plus. But The Rock, when he's playing himself, he is, I think it's set in like 2026, and he's being interviewed because he's running for president.
Ah, nice. Okay. Prophetic then, maybe. Who knows?
And you know what the Ukrainian president? President.
President.
Yeah.
Zelensky. Yeah.
Zelensky.
Yeah.
He was in a comedy show, wasn't he?
Where he was a comedian, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he got in that comedy show, he became president.
Right. Okay.
And people loved that show so much, he became president of the country.
That's interesting. Like art imitating life, and then kind of Wow. There we go. There's too much Wait, do we think there's too much celebrity in our politics, though? Who knows?
No, not enough. Because clearly,
give me more.
Clearly, President Zelensky is an absolute fucking don.
That's
isn't
true.
he?
Yeah, he's
very, very smart man. He's very, very brave man. He's doing an incredible job. So sometimes I think you do put someone in who, he's sniveling little shits like Boris. You put someone in who has worked their way up from nothing and isn't just an asshole and in it for the money. And Rock wouldn't need the money. That's another thing.
There's something in that. Someone who has come from like a lower class of society and worked their way up and can appreciate. I think that's the key term. Appreciating what you have and what that position of power entails. I think that gets lost in a lot of politicians, doesn't it?
And a lot of politicians, I was chatting about this the other day as well, my father, get offered these jobs, on the side. You sit on this board, get this much money, just send that our way. And like I was saying, I'd probably go, okay. Because I'd have that money happily. Thank you very much. And sure, you're probably a good company that will do the job. The Rock, he won't need any of that money. He's a multi-millionaire. I think there's a lot of benefits to The Rock going in.
Yeah. And of course, every time he comes out to a speech or whatever, a rally, you could play you could play his WWE theme tune.
Yes.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? The Rock says, and he could cut a hell of a promo on his presidential.
The debate.
Really? Yeah.
The debate. Hillary Clinton. You take Bill Clinton's saxophone, you roll it up, you stick it up sideways up your candy ass.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for it. Jimmy, let's start the hashtags now. Rock for president 2026? Whatever.
I'm in. I'm absolutely
We're in. Thank you, Tom, for your question. We do have one final question from Holly. Holly, we're going to roll over on your questions till we're going to keep it in the bank. So don't be disappointed. We haven't done both your questions. But Holly asks on the Facebook group, and of course, if you do want to get involved, head over to facebook.com/groups/Renaissancecast and on Twitter, twitter.com/Renaissancecast. Holly asks, what is the most satisfying sound? Satisfying sounds. I would like to say this podcast, obviously, if you're listening to this on Spotify, because we are available in audio form now. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking something. I don't know. I like something quite squelchy.
Do you now?
I do. It's something about that is quite satisfying. I'm trying to think of a situation where I would like that sound.
Punching a puddle of custard.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or kind of squeezing. You get tubs of slime for kids, kind of shoving your fist in the in the tub of slime and it going squelch.
Poor Amanda.
So I kind of like a nice wet squelchy sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What are you thinking? What you got?
I'm thinking.
Oh, I've got another one.
The when bacon goes into a frying pan.
Mate.
Yeah. I like that.
Holly's coming with the plop of a stone falling down a well.
Yeah. Well, another thing was the plop of a sound after you've been constipated.
Indeed. Yeah. But that is a that kind of What
about a mighty female orgasm? I mean, it's not a sound I've heard, but I understand from people it's a very satisfying.
Yeah.
An org.
Never heard of such things. But yes, I mean, if the roar of a crowd, not necessarily Colchester United crowd, because there's not many of us, but the roar of a crowd from a sporting occasion, like when something good has happened, like a goal or a try or a wicket or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
that's quite an orgasmic kind of a joyous sound, isn't it?
Yeah. I like hearing a cock or a cockerel going cock-a-doodle-doo. I like that sound.
Do you?
Yeah.
I would find that quite annoying.
I wouldn't want it in the morning.
When else do they do it?
Well, yeah, I just mean waking me up. But sometimes when I go running, I run past a load of chickens,
right,
and I hear them making their noises.
So when you're not sleeping at the time or trying to sleep at the time,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, nature sounds in general are quite good. I actually go to sleep. I go to sleep listening to sounds of nature. So I like. I do. It's not quite white. It's like an alternative to white noise.
Yeah.
So it's actually a podcast that you can download and subscribe to that will play like a babbling brook, or I don't know, like I don't know, like a
waterfall or a rain.
Waterfall. It's generally water based, something kind of quite soothing, and that helps me go to sleep.
Do you know what's mad? And I bet they get a lot more viewers than we do.
And us, of course, we should just do this.
I know. We should just go.
It's a fucking good idea. Yeah.
We pour our hearts out every week. We give them every scrap of brain power we have left on a Friday night for our peeps out there, and they go. They get 2,000 views.
And we're missing out. Although it has been known that Holly has gone to sleep listening to us, so that's a privilege in itself.
I've gone to sleep listening to us.
Oh, have you? There you go.
Well, on the show.
Oh, I'll never forget when DRB had just had his COVID jab.
Yeah, and then he
just zoned out.
He drank a load as well, though, didn't he? The mixture nearly killed him.
Oh, bless him. Yeah,
that may be one of our best shows.
Yeah, we maybe saw the end of DRB live on the show. That's probably in the archive somewhere on YouTube. Do you know what I also like? This is very personal to ourselves, coming from the place where we do. I've always liked going for a walk down the coast, and then you hear the sound of like the I don't know what they called. I'm not a sailor, but the rope on the top of a sail, kind of just flapping in the breeze and hitting it.
Yeah,
that's a nice sound.
Do you like
that
the
reminds
ting,
me of home?
The ting 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 ting
Yeah,
ting? Yeah.
That's a nice sound. That's a nice sound.
And I like a church bell. I like a nice church bell.
Yeah. I think sounds like smells and they're very evocative, aren't they? You know, you can kind of smell something or hear something and they'll trigger a memory or a feeling. It's very funny how our brain works like that. But yeah, Holly likes a good plop. There you go.
Good for her.
Yeah, good old holes. Thank you for your question, Holly. If you do want to contribute to the show, then please do get involved, like I say, on Facebook and Twitter. The post goes up on a Wednesday, and we answer the questions on a Friday. So I like that. You get to probe us.
Another nice noise.
Yeah. Going back to those squelching noises again.
I'll tell you another. I will say one more. The sound of my kids laughing is a really.
Yeah. We probably should have gone with that one first, shouldn't we? Yeah, get that one out of the way. You know, so we're showing a bit of, you know.
But I genuinely mean it. I know to you. I know to you. It's
it's very mundane.
It's nails down a blackboard. Your son enjoying himself. And you thinking, why isn't that my fun? Yeah, my kids laugh. I was only saying to my wife the other day, my kids laughing, or our kids laughing, sorry, is one of my favourite noises. But it's not satisfying.
No. It is a good noise. I'll give you that. I will genuinely say that is a nice noise. A proper guffaw from your son or daughter is good.
I'll just add one more. Back to my basketball playing days, because I know people can't tell, but I'm actually 6'8" under here on my chair.
Athletic.
The sound of a swish.
Swish. Yeah.
That sound was
very good, actually.
Yeah, I'm like Motormouth Jones.
You really are.
In movies.
Well, not quite, but yeah, close enough. So yeah, there we go, Holly. Any suggestions in the chat? Do put them in. What is your most satisfying sound? Sadly, we think Brian Blessed is on holiday this week. Is that right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I put it out to all of my celebrity friends, all of the questions. Unfortunately, not even Blessed came back to me this time, so I apologise for that. But what I will do is I'll get the answers to these questions, because I'm sure the people who asked these, Holly and Tom, would want Blessed's answers. I'll get them, and we'll either play them next week, or maybe we could do a short and
good idea
during the week.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll chuck it out on a little short video during the week. I think that'll be lovely. So
or they might come during the show.
They may do, and if they do let me know, Jimmy. Do let me know. Right. With that being said, it's time for us to take a look at the Week in Geek. The Week in Geek. The Week in Geek. Jimmy. A few stories that I'm going to bring to you. I think we need to kick off with the big news from the week, and that is the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer.
Yes, very exciting. Very exciting.
Now, this dropped midweek. I can't remember the day, forgive me. But it'd been quite a while. Well, we hadn't heard anything I think doesn't it hold a record for like the longest Marvel film? That's the longest gap for a Marvel film from announcement to getting a trailer. Something
Really?
like that. I'm sure it has. But they finally dropped one for us, and we're going to have a look. You haven't seen it yet, is that right?
Nope, been holding off.
Oh, nice. Right, let me
Stu, just before you show this, is there a Guardians 3 trailer out as well, or do these things coincide? Or did I get hoodwinked by a fan-made Guardians trailer that I saw?
No. Well, you'll see. I'll leave it. You'll see in the trailer, Jimmy.
Okay. Exciting.
All right, let me just.
If last week's trailer is anything to go by, where we did the Stranger Things, where I got absolutely pumped, I'm ready. For
yeah. Okay. All right. Let me share my screen. Here we go. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not to put my cards on the table too soon, but I thought this was good. I can see I've seen a mixture of reactions to it, so I am interested to see what you think. Let me just cue it all the way back. Make sure the volume is nice and high for you. Right. Let's do this. This is the Thor Love and Thunder official teaser.
These hands were once used for battle. Now they're but humble tools for peace. I need to figure out exactly who I am. I want to choose my own path. Live in the moment. My superheroing days are over. Remember what I told you? You ever feel lost? Just look into the eyes of the people that you love. Not me. What? Just listening.
Nice.
Jane Foster.
Yeah. Let me get. So, initial thoughts, Jimmy. Hot off the press.
What's not to like about that? What's not to like about that? That looks incredible.
Do you know, I strangely felt it was a little understated. Really, it didn't really reveal a great deal. I don't think.
I'm happy with that though.
Yeah, I'm not. Too
many trailers tell you everything these days.
That's true. And it's a teaser, so it's important to consider that. But
great song choice. I know some of our colleagues who have moved on to their other channels hate Guns N' Roses. Not even colleagues, people that listen to the show as well. When I brought up Guns N' Roses, I got absolutely slaughtered that one time by the listeners and our colleagues. But I think that's an amazing song, Sweet Child of Mine, and he is better as a funnier character, Thor, isn't he? You've only got to look at Thor 1 compared to Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I
love Thor 1, but I think the progression of Thor's character has been a nice one. You know, he has taken on that more comedic tone, and I don't know if that's probably like sacrilege to people who love the comics. I don't know, but yeah, I've enjoyed it, seeing him develop and become a much loved, hilarious character as the Marvel films have gone on. So, and this seems to be all that, doesn't it? It really does. What do you feel? How do you feel about Star-Lord in it? Like,
I'm happy to see him. Yeah, I love the Guardians films. I'm happy to see the team there. Hopefully, that will lead into Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and we'll get that eventually. Yeah, no, because he went off with them at the end, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Who's the captain? Everyone knows who's in charge. Everyone knows it. And obviously Chris Pratt and Hemsworth are brilliant comedic actors. Oh no, that really excites me. I thought that looked brilliant. I liked seeing the young Thor move into the slightly older Thor with the old school helmet into the bigger Thor running. I liked, it was interesting seeing what was going on with I Thor. It looks great. Yeah. I thought, oh, beautiful, Tom,
I know.
beautiful.
No good, eh?
It just looks good fun, and that is unfortunately one of the things you need to do with these films, because Thor could arguably be like a Superman character, and Superman can be really boring, can't he? Because it's just too good.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to those characters that are too perfect, the only one that's done it well is Captain America, who's done it incredibly well, and the writing has lent itself to him being just the best man he can possibly be. And because he's, as I think I've said before on the show, I watched a video essay about him, and they said what was at the core of him was still that small chap, just I can go all day just fighting. It's just that small chap inside. He didn't get arrogant because he got bigger. He was still that. He was always that plucky fighter who'd do anything. Whereas Superman, Thor, alien god things. So I think you have to sort of go comedic with Thor to make him more interesting.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that's exactly what they need to do. It gives him a bit of nuance to his character as well, I think. I mean, he has been quite, if you follow his arc through the Marvel films, I think he's been quite flawed in a lot of cases. Obviously he started off really arrogant and kind of learning to become worthy of Mjolnir, and they've just added that kind of added layer of the comedic stuff to him. It stopped him becoming stale, I think, is how I would look at it. But it looks fun, doesn't it? It looks fun.
One of my favorite bits from the first film is where they're in the coffee shop and he throws the cup of coffee on more coffee, that was like there's a hint of there's some levity in it and fun. Tom Rogerson just put something interesting in the chat there, Stu. One of the most watched trailers of all time.
Wow.
Given it's only been out for a few days or so, I read somewhere. You probably read that on the back of a toilet door.
Fag packet. That's interesting. I'm not surprised. I think there was a thirst for this film.
A thirst.
Brilliant. Another Taika Waititi directorial Marvel entry. So I think everyone is kind of looking forward to this. Like I say, I think the reaction has, from what I've seen, has been a little bit mixed on the social medias. Right. But I think that's the case for most things these days. Everyone's got a fucking opinion, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's why we do this, to be honest, is to
give our opinions.
Exactly. Yeah.
So our wives don't have to hear them.
Yeah. It's therapy really for us, isn't it, Jimmy?
Did it have a release date, Stu?
Oh, it did.
July. Did it say July?
Yeah, July 2022, I think. It's coming July, yeah.
No way.
We've got Doctor Strange next month, followed by Thor. Did it say July?
I thought it said July, but that would mean...
That seems quite soon, doesn't it?
Yes, we've just had the teaser.
Was it 23? I don't know. Hang on, let me have a look. Let's Google the shit out of this.
Yeah, Google it. Tom Rogerson just said that toilet door bloke is normally very reliable.
Where are we? Thor, Love and Thunder. 8th of July, 2022. That is soon, isn't it?
I'm going to the cinema for that. I'm going to the cinema for that.
Yeah, I tend to exclusively go to the cinema for Marvel releases now. It's all it is to me now. It's just the state of my life, really. But there we go. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Pumped.
2 consecutive good trailers the last couple of weeks then, so that's good.
They know how to do a trailer now, don't they?
They do, yeah.
They've nailed the trailers.
But it is a unique skill because you can't, like you say, you can reveal too much. I do hate a trailer where you look at it and you think, well, what is the point now? You've pretty much given the whole plot synopsis.
Yeah. I do miss old trailers where they did pretty much give you the story and it was just the same bloke, in a year where burgers have taken over the world. You just had it, and just crappy shots of the film.
Yeah.
I do miss those things.
Yeah.
They were good fun.
Very much so. Jimmy, we spoke about last week. We spoke very briefly about Star Wars video games. You know, both big Star Wars fans as we are. I would say we'd like to game from various degrees of. Well, I don't know. I would say I'm more of a gamer than yourself, but that's probably purely down to time constraints that you have for your 100 children.
And my job, very busy man.
But we kind of raised a point that we didn't really know what kind of Star Wars games were coming out. And I found this list online this week, and it lists every Star Wars game currently in development. I thought it'd be nice just to follow up from last week and kind of give you an idea of what Star Wars games are due out.
I'd love this.
In development.
I'd love this.
So hit me. Let me share my screen again for you. There's quite a lot. There's more than I thought. There's some. Bear with me. There's some games on there that we know about or we knew about. There's some that I didn't really know about. So it's a good mixture, really. So first up, so here we go. Every Star Wars game in development. There was that one that we spoke about last week. That's why we bring this up. A new one that had been announced.
Yes, the one you thought would be up my street.
The open world one, but that is mentioned in this list. And another Star Wars game has been announced this week. So we'll get to that in a minute. Forgive me. I'm very windy today.
Do you remember Miss Robinson when she burped in class?
I was close to it.
Yeah, we cracked up for years.
Ooh, yeah. Good times, man. Good times. Star Wars Hunters. This is like the second Star Wars game due out this year. Obviously, we've had Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga, which is very good. I'm playing that currently. Star Wars Hunters, it's almost like a Fortnite style. It's a free-to-play arena shooter. It's very much in the Fortnite vein. It's very kind of stylized graphics. I think it's more aimed to a younger audience. My son basically will love this. It's coming out on Switch and I believe mobile. So there's kind of a variety of characters that you can portray, and I think it's teams of. I think it might be 3-on-3. I'm not entirely sure of the format, but it's it's an arena shooter, so you're trying to kill each other, and the team with the most kills wins. So that's quite interesting. I think that could be quite big actually, being a free-to-play mobile and Switch game developed by Zynga, who know their mobile stuff. So yeah, that's one to look out for, I think. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. I don't think it's. Oh no, it has been officially announced. A sequel to 2019 Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is officially in development. EA and Lucasfilm Games confirmed in early 2022. So this is going to follow the story of what's his name? Oh fuck, what's his name? The protagonist's name in that?
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. That's it. Thank you, mate. And I'm interested to see where that goes, because I was very disappointed with the ending of the first game, where you just spoilers, just fucking destroy the holocron that you've been searching God knows how many hours for.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, you just kind of I think you crush it and just like chuck it away. You know, like when Luke just flings his lightsaber away.
Oh yeah, the worst thing in Star Wars history.
This I don't know. It got right on it ground my gears. It really did. But I'll be interesting to see where they go. Go with that, particularly with it being quite. I mean, I think Cal Kestis eventually comes into live action at some point.
Yeah, you might as well. He's a good actor.
Yeah, and he seems like they're building quite a key part of the canon with him and that story. So that'd be interesting to see, narratively where they go with that. BioWare are remaking Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know if you ever played this game, Jimmy. This was a fantastic.
I heard loads of good stuff about this game.
Oh mate, so good.
Was it like a hack and slash like I like, or was it where you had to build your character up and stuff?
Yeah, so it was very strange in the sense that the combat system was, you could kind of like tailor it to your own needs. It was a bit turn-based, so yeah, I know you like your hack and slash, so this probably wouldn't interest you a great deal, but the story was so good. That's what I loved about it. It was, set in the Old Republic era at the time.
Yeah.
which I'm not sure if that's canon anymore, but who knows at this point. But yeah, it's one of the better Star Wars stories they'd told for a long time at that point, because I think this came out like around Attack of the Clones, maybe 2003. So we were kind of in the midst of really rubbish movie Star Wars stories, and this came out and was a breath of fresh air. It really was. On the Xbox. I think it came to PC, but they're remaking it, so that'll be quite interesting.
That'll be the same game, just updated on a new platform.
I think so. They'll probably update a lot of the mechanics and stuff. It might not. It might be a hack and slash on this occasion. I'm not sure. They might kind of steer away from the turn-based combat. I know BioWare, when they kind of developed the Mass Effect games, which were like a spiritual successor to KOTOR, they started off turn-based, but gradually became more of a shooter game. So they kind of removed themselves from it being more of a turn-based game. So they might do the same with this.
Right.
One to look out for you, mate, I think.
Yeah.
And purely for the story, it's fantastic. I assume they'll keep like the same narrative beats as well. Respawn, who are the developers of the Jedi Fallen Order series, they're also doing a first-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe. That'll be interesting. A very few details based on that, but they're mentioning being inspired by Dark Forces and Dark Forces 2, which I loved. I love those two games.
What were they?
They were first-person shooters, but we're talking like mid-90s, so almost like Doom, but with a Star Wars skin.
What were they on, like the N64 or something? Yeah,
PlayStation 1, N64. Yeah, Kyle Katarn. He was the character in those. I think that the first game was, for a time, was like the canon version of how you got the Death Star plans. So you played the character who got the Death Star plans. Obviously,
I've heard about them. About them.
Obviously been overtaken now by Rogue One, but which was a better story, to be fair. But yeah, it's fun at the time, actually, just kind of storming an Empire base and stealing the plans.
Yeah.
And this is the one that I think will interest you most, Jimbo, is an Ubisoft open world Star Wars game. In 2021, Ubisoft and Lucasfilm Games announced an open world Star Wars project, officially signaling the end of EA's long-held Star Wars video game exclusivity. Developed by Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, who have done The Division, which is the game I mentioned to you last week, which is that kind of open world shooter set in New York and Washington over the two games that they've developed.
Yeah.
You're collecting loot. So yeah, big emphasis on the world and how you can traverse that world and making it a really rich environment for you to explore. So that could be one for you, mate, and that'll come to all the current consoles. Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, we saw the trailer for that, didn't we?
We did. That's going to be a very narrative heavy game. Quantic Dream. They produce almost like the current evolution of point and click adventures, like your Monkey Islands and Broken
I hear
Swords.
they're remaking Monkey Island.
They're doing a new one. Yeah. So that'll be good. That'll be interesting. I'm a fan of Monkey Island. Yeah. But this kind of follows a similar, I assume it's going to follow the similar vein, where it's about like having conversations, how you making choices in the narrative and seeing.
Yeah, how boring.
Sounds very similar to that Star Wars game that looks rubbish. Sorry, the Star Trek game that looks rubbish.
That one.
Yeah. Sorry. And finally, I think, oh God, no, it's not. And finally, Respawn, Star Wars strategy game. Yeah, that sounds a bit dull. This is the new one that was announced this week. Amy Hennig, who is a famous kind of video game developer. She directed the Uncharted games. If you play Uncharted,
no, but I've heard very good things. They're like Tomb Raider, aren't they?
They are like a high kind of adventure, high action kind of series. So if she can bring those chops to the Star Wars universe, that could be quite interesting.
I felt like Fallen Order was in a similar vein.
It was, yeah. That's very,
games,
very, very much so.
Uncharted, not Enchanted.
Yeah. Although Enchanted video game would be awesome because I love those films.
Tom Rogers, a massive fan of the Enchanted movie.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a question in from Holly here. From someone who's never really been a fan of Marvel, which film or series would you recommend as a starter to entice me in?
Oh, we're going back to Marvel. Well, we're still in the Disney world, aren't we? Of Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
I know what I'd say. I know what I'd say straight away. I'd say hit the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Yeah, that is a good shout, actually, Jimmy. They're funny.
Separate, and they're separate, aren't they?
Yeah, they're entertaining. They're good, kind of just rip-roaring adventures. They're fun. They're flashy. They look amazing. Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt, so he's good in most things he does, if not everything. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, you could start from Iron Man and just work your way through the Infinity Saga, but that's a large undertaking, isn't it? I think you do.
It is a
right.
slog.
It is, and there's a few turkeys early on which you need to kind of power through before you get to the better stuff. I think, but
it's hard. It's hard finding the time because our good friend John Simmons, who listens to the show, Scale Model Maker, he used to love Marvel as a youngster. He got me into comics. Like we used to look at, he had all the X-Men comics. He was a big X-Men fan. He's not watched any of the Marvel films.
You're joking. Wow.
No, he's done none. And he's a massive, he's a big nerd like we are.
Why is that then?
I don't think he liked the idea of them. And I mean, he's only got one TV in his house. I don't think he's done very well for himself. So he has to watch whatever the wife's watching, But I've said to him, look, these are the films to watch: Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Captain America. Like I skip loads, Captain America: Civil War, but I say to him all the time, Guardians 1 and 2 are just like you can watch them separate from all the other things.
Yeah, and
I think if you went with them, they'd maybe bring you into the idea of the Infinity Saga, and you could go, okay, I'm down with this. Let's go back. But I think Iron Man 1 is great.
Yeah, I
Seddon always used to hate Iron Man, didn't he? Because of him as a person, I think.
Yeah, which is fair enough. I mean, he's not the most likable character in that to start with, but I think a lot of that is half the point in his journey throughout that film. I do like Iron Man 1. I think that is I do think that is a great place to start. But I also like the idea of dipping into something that's separate. Oh, Benji's here. Dipping into something separate that you can kind of just focus on. I do miss the days of like separate superhero movies, like a Batman or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
that's not kind of tied into a big grand universe that you have to invest in.
That's probably why he hasn't got into them, because it's just a saga now. Literally, like
overwhelming.
Where do you if you were out of it, where do you even go from it? And I get that, but I think Guardians 1 and 2 are quite separate things. And actually, even if you just picked a hero, you could probably watch a few of them in a row.
Yeah. Would you do origin stories? I mean, I always like the first Cap film. I always like that as an origin story. I think that's one of my favorite films. The First Avenger. What's it called? The First Avenger. Captain America: The First Avenger. That's a good one. Yeah.
I'd definitely go Iron Man. I think Iron Man was incredible. I was blown away by it in the cinema. I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. Yeah. And Jeff Bridges as well is great, and Downey Jr. obviously is incredible. And then I think the Avengers film is amazing, but you need to know who Loki is. So you need to do what's that? Thor 1 at least.
At least, yeah. I don't know, Holes. To be honest, I just dive in. They're great. It's a fantastic journey that does have its ups and downs, but when you get to the end of Endgame, I think it does all pay off spectacularly. So if you do the journey, I do wish you well. Godspeed, Holly.
Oh, you're in for a long haul. How many films is it? 22?
Something like that. I'm surprised Holly hasn't seen any of them yet. Surely she has. Come on, Holly.
I'm sure we've spoiled most of them for her.
Ain't quite.
Yeah, start with Iron Man 1. Why not? Iron Man. Just go for it. And
Jump in.
Start going.
Yeah. So there we go. That's kind of an overview of Star Wars games in development, and latterly some discussion on the MCU.
I think it's because Tom got a question and Holly couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm in charge here.
There could be some delay. We do get some delay on the chat stream as well sometimes. Like people will ask a question about something we were talking about 20 minutes ago. Perhaps that's the case. That actually came in when we were doing the Thor trailer. Sticking to the Star Wars theme, and indeed my love of Lego. Well, not sticking to my love of Lego, but you know what I mean. I do love a bit of Lego. I've got some videos on the YouTube channel to prove it. But this is some Lego news for us, and something you might like as well, Jimmy, is the latest in a kind of a series of Lego that's aimed more at, I would argue, adults.
S&M Lego.
A little bit of blue. It's the Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder. I forgot what the Ultimate Collector Series. This was
adults.
This. Well, you could shove that somewhere, I suppose. You could sit on it.
Satisfying noise.
Oh, hang on a sec.
You go. Well, I'll talk about it. So this is the 75341 Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder, 1,890 pieces, Ultimate Collector's Series.
Look at that, mate. Look.
What is
that? Well, as Jimmy said, you can't hear Jimmy, can you? Luke Skywalker's Land Speeder, 1,890 pieces, Ultimate Collector Series.
But how much is it?
I don't know. Probably quite a lot.
Is Benj in charge of the purse strings? But how much is it, Dad? Because I'm not having you buy it if we can't eat that week.
Hello.
I went forward a page. I didn't mean to. So this was announced this week. It's a long rumored Ultimate Collector Series version of the Land Speeder, featuring a large scale version of the X-34 Land Speeder along with a stand, info placard, and minifigures of Luke and 3PO. I've got the well, you can probably see behind me, just behind Benji's head. I've got the Ecto 1 in the same series. That didn't come with minifigures, but it's it's of a similar scale anyway, and it's that's a treat to build, and I'm looking forward to this. I do love a nice piece of Lego, don't we, Benj?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get this, Stu?
I think I will. Yeah, I don't quite know when it's out or how much it is. I'll have to ask Benj for the funds, to be honest. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this coming out. I think that's a nice that'd be a nice centerpiece for the shelf of Tut, to be honest with you. Yeah, so there we go, Benj. I'm going to love you and leave you, okay?
Aww.
Give me a kissy.
Night.
Mwah. Night, night. Night, night. Night, night. Benj, we're live on air. This is we're live to the nation. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah.
That's
all right. That's a lovely piece. It was nice to see his reaction. To
how much is it? Yeah. So yeah, Holly says, "Have you seen the Titanic Lego?" I have, and it's amazing. It's huge. I think that's the Lego set with the most pieces you can currently get, or that's ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the Titanic from the film or the original
It's
Titanic?
just a generic Titanic.
The original people on it who died.
Yeah.
Did they get the rights from the families from the deaths?
Minifigures, like blue minifigures, as they.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm so sorry if you're
a Titanic survivor. Are there? When did that happen?
It's a good question, Jimbo. Not sure.
Well, I ask you these things because you're the tech guy, expecting you can just bring these facts.
I see.
Mate, you should get an Alexa, Stu, in your room, and that way we can just ask Alexa stuff.
That's a bloody good shout.
Because she clearly will know more than what we know.
Get on the show.
My great auntie, who is sadly no longer with us, my auntie Joycey, who was awesome. She couldn't swim and was scared of water. And when she went to a psychic or whatever, to find out why. They told it's because she died on the Titanic.
What, in a previous life? Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's interesting.
So the Titanic must have been way before her life. Otherwise, their lives would have coincided.
So I've got the date. 14th of April, 1912.
That is a long time ago, isn't it? 14th of April, 1912.
Yep. So what? Almost 100. Well, just over 110 years ago.
Seems sad and maybe a bit dark to do a Lego set of a tragedy where I presume a few hundred people died.
Nearly 1,500. Do you mean?
Right. Okay.
I didn't mean to proceed that with that or have a then chuckle afterwards. I'm so sorry.
When a Lego bringing out the Auschwitz.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a dark joke, but I think it stands because that is a bit of a weird thing to bring out a Lego thing about, isn't it?
I've got it here.
An actual tragedy.
There we go. Lovely box. It looks beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, and it's the actual boat rather than it broken in half with
obviously, like just stuck up in the air like the end of Titanic with Jack and Rose.
Well, I'm sure you could do that if you wanted to.
I'm sure you could modify it. Yeah.
You'd have to buy a couple of Icemen Lego figures.
I do.
Stick them in the water.
I have seen videos of this, and it's highly detailed. Like there's sections of the hull that you can remove, and you've got like the different kind of layers of the Titanic. Because there was almost like a class structure at play, wasn't there, on the Titanic? Like all the cheap seats at the bottom of the boat, and you kind of, as you rose up in society, the higher up the boat you went, almost like culminating in the penthouse suites at the top of the boat. And you can kind of remove panels from the side of it, and you kind of get to see the intricate detail, the engine room and stuff. It's the Lego. It's like the top Lego model in terms of like quality and stuff like that. So that was an aside. That's Holly again, isn't it? Causing trouble, causing mischief. But there we go. What else have we got for you, Jimbo?
What else news have we got? I mean, I'm still waiting for the wife to build the Home Alone Lego house.
Has she not done that yet?
No.
Come on.
She's still building the burrows, the Harry Potter burrows. She's on that. And you do need time on your own to do Lego, don't you?
You do.
It's quite tricky in our house.
I got recently got the Batmobile from the latest Batman movie, which I plan to build. I'm trying to think of a way that I can do that for the channel, whether film it and then, because what I'd like to do is film my builds and then speed up the footage so you get the build in like half the time.
I love that when you do that, and I love the noise.
That's really good. I enjoyed doing that, and it worked quite well.
Yeah, it looked brilliant on your videos where quick builds. See it being built, and it's like the noise from the Lego games.
It is
where they're building
exactly
stuff.
That. Exactly.
I'm quite keen to film my wife build the Home Alone house, and put that. We can put that on the Renaissance Men channel. Yeah. I said she basically, to get more viewers, it basically just needs to be her cleavage and building Lego. You don't need to see her face, just building Lego with a cleavage. It'll be our biggest.
It will. There's a niche there. There really is. Yeah.
It's not a niche. It's the perverts. They're not a niche.
Not anymore. There we go. I remiss. I do have a final story, and this is one of the Stadia fans in the house. This is just confirmation of the Stadia Pro games that are coming out in May. So Stadia Pro is the monthly subscription where you pay $8.90. I think it's $8.99. Stadia being Google's video game streaming platform that I'm a fan of, and I like to bring news of it to the wider audience because I don't think it gets enough airtime, quite frankly. And every month Google will announce some free games that you can claim as part of your subscription. Obviously, you keep the games as long as you continue to be a subscriber. And this month we are getting, on the 1st of May, we're getting Lumote, the Master Mote Chronicles. No idea what that is. But that sounds like here we go, an indie title. I won't play the video, but it's is there a brief description? A beautiful 3D puzzle platformer with vivid visuals and quirky characters. Players Lumote, a squishy bioluminescent creature on a quest to overthrow the Master Mote. Sounds crazy. We're also getting Outriders, which is the big one. That was quite a big game released from last year. That's a shooter, I believe, by I think it might be Square Enix. That's very much a looter shooter. These are probably terms you don't get, Jimmy, but for the audience, it might mean something.
But I'm nodding along.
Good old boy.
Looter shooter. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And one for the kids, Paw Patrol the movie, Adventure City Calls. So, and 2 more to come as well. So you do get what I love about Stadia, the Stadia Pro sub, is you get a good range of games, a wide range of kind of genres, and there's one for the kids, there's one for the shooter fans, there's one for the platform puzzle fans. You get a good range of games to suit most tastes.
So this is something obviously we've talked about on the show before. This is like the Netflix equivalent of a gaming console. So you don't need to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation. You sign up for this subscription thing, and you get given games each month. And there's games you can just play on it. And how much is it a month? You tried to sell this to me before when I wasn't buying it. How much is it?
Again, we're going back to that conversation, but I sound like a salesman. But it's $8.99 a month. You get it's a game streaming platform. So it is like Netflix, as you say. You can run the games basically through a browser on your PC. You don't need a powerful rig to run it. If you have most TVs these days have it baked into their suite of apps that they offer you. I think particularly on like LG TVs and Samsung TVs, you can fire up or any Android TV, you can fire up the Stadia app.
Right. And when you sign up, do you get sent the joypad, the controller, or whatever they're called these days?
You have to buy that separately. So that is a separate purchase. But you can use any controller that you like. You can use, if you've got a PlayStation controller or Xbox controller lying about, they do work. You can connect them via Bluetooth to your TV or whatever device you're streaming the game through. And that's what I like. It's the versatility. You can use what you already have. You can stream to the screens you already have. And it's a service that is slowly building. I think game streaming personally is something that's going to inevitably come in time. Overtake physical media like it has with TVs and films and such. So I think I've just got on there a bit early. It might be a bit too early. I don't think the world is particularly ready for it yet. They're not ready to make that transition.
You're a trendsetter, Stu.
I like to think so. Thanks.
You always have been.
Thank you, brother. So that's my news for the week, really. Have you got anything, Jimmy, that you want to bring? Anything that you've picked up on your
travels?
Your travels?
No, I don't know. Usually,
put you on the spot there. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Usually, I do bring a couple of news stories, don't I? But the other week we had quite a few. I mean, there's the big news story of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but that's a bit of a.
I thought that had all been done and dusted.
No, what was being done before was Johnny Depp suing, I think, The Sun or the News of the World or one of those.
Yes.
Because they had called him a wife beater. This is, I think, Johnny suing Amber for what's it called? Something of character or whatever.
Oh, defamation of character.
Yeah, is that a word?
I think so.
For like 50 million, and she's countersuing him for 100 million. And I think the results are coming out today of his thing. So I've been watching that on YouTube. The only problem with watching it is it's a fascinating story. The two sad things, it's one, you're listening to a couple just airing everything live on YouTube. I don't know why it's televised. Why the hell is it televised? That's sad. Yes, kind of entertaining, but it's sad.
It's like watching WrestleMania.
But the other
tragic, thing is, but you can't draw your eyes from it.
Yeah, probably. But the other hard thing about watching it is Johnny Depp talks so slowly. And you're like, is this a character? Is this a new character? Because he's like, yeah, so Amber, she came in and I had hidden in the bathroom, and she had a knife. And it's so slow, and you're going, "God, mate, I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed. This
Crack
video
on.
says 20 minutes. It should last 5. You should be able to bang this story out." But he's so slow at talking now. But yeah, I mean, I'm Team Johnny all the
Team
way.
Johnny.
I mean, one interesting thing I did watch was he had left, and he said, and she was going away for the weekend, and he said, "Right, I'm going to go back to the mansion, to get some of my stuff." And his security guard went, "It's not the time to go." He went, "But I want to go back. She's not there. This seems like the time to go." There we go. Absolutely right, Lacey. And the security guard, "Well, no, look at this picture." And she had shit in his bed. Amber Heard had shit. And when he's telling this story, Amber Heard, exactly. And when he's telling this story, she's sat in the courtroom like this.
Oh yeah, shit in his bed.
She looks like Elon Musk. They dated for a while, didn't they? Her and Elon. They've got a very similar look. That sort of look of, I'm not from this fucking planet.
Prosthetic kind of fake, like
yes, yeah. But that's the only news story
body
I've
snatch
been following, and I think that there's probably loads to talk about, but it's all a bit sad, really.
Well, the one nugget of joy I got from it is the fact
Amber Heard's nugget.
Yeah, it's Amber Heard's nugget is the fact that Johnny Depp had never seen a Pirates of the Caribbean film, despite starring in the whole franchise for a decade. That's brilliant. Can't be fucking bothered to watch it. It looks shit. I was there. I filmed it. It's probably shit. I just love that attitude. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. We've got something from Chris Lacey there. Americans.
Lacey, welcome. Welcome, Lacey. Alumni Lacey, welcome to the chat. Lovely to have you with us, my friend.
Absolutely. He's mentioned Kevin Nash. What did Kevin Nash? Did he shit in Johnny Depp's bed as well? So I imagine he does big shits.
God, he would, wouldn't he? Yeah. Big
Diesel
ones as well.
big daddy. Oh, I can't do a pun. Big doody cool. I don't know.
Big doo-doo cool.
Big doo-doo cool. Let's
That's
find out.
That's all I've got.
Well, let's carry on. I'm sure Chris at some point will tell us what Kevin Nash has done.
Midge is in the chat. So hello, Midge. Midge has been watching lots of Stardom wrestling. Is there any wrestling news? I read that Bret Hart maybe signed a lucrative deal with WWE in the last few days.
What?
Yeah, just I don't know what for. Maybe it's like a Legends deal or something. But I think the upshot of it is he won't be able to appear with what they called FTR on AEW because he had been doing some like management duties of them.
That's right. Had he actually come out and been a manager for them? Because I heard
I think so. Forgive me, I'm not. I'm not up to speed on the AE dubs. But,
Bret Hart is a sellout, isn't he? Like I love Bret Hart, but he's so horrible about previous companies and stuff, and then he just goes and does stuff with them.
Let's check the wrestling news on the Google. Let's see if anyone's dead. That's usually what happens, isn't it?
There we go. So Tom Rogerson has said Johnny Depp doesn't watch any of his films.
No, good.
Hopefully he didn't watch Willy Wonka. And regarding Kevin Nash was mentioned in the trial at the Magic Mike rap show with her. Right, because he was in Magic Mike. Was Amber Heard in Magic Mike, or did she turn up at a rap show because she's such a massive whore? Lots of news coming in.
Isn't it? Hot off the presses. The chat is on fire. I'm loving it.
Tom Rogerson said Johnny Depp was forced to watch one of his films once, never again.
That's how I feel, to be perfectly honest. That's I feel his pain. And Midge, Stardom is currently holding their annual Cinderella tournament, and we are now in the semi-finals. I'm sure that means something to someone. Midge, God love you. God love you. That's predominantly it's a female wrestling promotion from Japan, I believe. Again,
Midge loves his female wrestling.
Yeah, if it's not. I'm just terribly tragic. If it's not WWE, then I don't really know about it. I'm so sad. I do apologize for that, but it is what it is. I'm a man of simple tastes. Taste being questionable, I think.
Butter sandwiches.
Yeah. You won't let that die, will you? You won't let it die.
No. You wouldn't let it go.
No. I'm kind of scouring the wrestling news sites, and nothing's kind of jumping out at me. No one's dead. So we're good.
Well, we can save all this for the next Botchcast. I'm sure there's going to be more, because if WWE have got Brett coming back, surely they're going to bring him out on TV, because he's a draw, isn't he?
Let's hope so. Like stumbling out.
Bless him.
Yeah. Right, Jimbo. Let's move on to what we've been watching this week then. And the group watch we've been cracking on with is Moon Knight, of course.
Yeah.
Episode 4 of which dropped onto Disney Plus this week, and it obviously followed on directly from where we were at from episode 3, in the sense that both is it Stephen? I forget who we were with at the end of episode 2. Was it Stephen, or was it?
Oh, so Stephen was putting the map together, wasn't it? At the end
He was.
Of 3.
Obviously, Khonshu then kind of got
turned into a statue.
Yeah, banished, I guess. I don't know. Turned into a statue, but kind of the gods had exiled him to this kind of statue form, which left Stephen and his alter ego. Is it Mark? I forget. Is it Mark?
Mark. Yeah.
Mark.
Mark Spector and Stephen
something.
Yeah.
Which left them without the Moonlight powers, but they were continuing their quest to seek the tomb of the other Egyptian god that I forget the name of that god, that Harrow was also after.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember her name either. Sorry.
No, but Stephen and Layla are after the tomb of the other Egyptian god, like I say, and they this episode kind of is a real change of pace for me, which I liked, in that it was primarily focused on that one location, the search of this tomb. Stephen, Mark, and Layla. I'm going to have to refer to them as a threesome. I think it's just easier that way.
Yeah, like Rod, Jane, and Freddie.
Yeah, yeah. Or Bungle, Zippy, and George. These are 3.
These are Bungle, Zippy, and Paul.
Yeah. I used to get called Bungle a bit at school. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
I had long hair, and very Bungle-like, to be fair.
Yeah, big old curtains.
Yeah. But anyway, as an aside, back to Moon Knight. So Layla, Mark, and Stephen are searching the tomb, trying to find the location of what are they looking for? I guess they're looking for. Ultimately they're looking for the statue of the other god.
I don't quite know, to be honest, and maybe I'm not paying enough attention.
Well, it's kind of a flaw in the show, I would argue, that we don't. It's kind of lost some of the, what the hell are we ultimately trying to do here? The overarching plot, I think, has been lost somewhat. But I can kind of forgive that. Sorry if you can hear my cable. I can kind of forgive that because I'm enjoying the interplay between, Mark, Stephen, Layla, and Harrow. In fact, I'm loving I'm loving that kind of interplay between those characters more than I am the grander plot, I think. And I don't know, is that a good thing? That probably is a criticism at the end of the day if your main plot isn't particularly good. I don't know, but
I think the plot is good. I think it's just quite complicated. Maybe we're not used to complicated plots, and it doesn't matter. I agree with you. I don't think it matters either way, because I'm with you, Stu. I thought this was a nice contained episode.
Yeah.
Just within that one place.
It was less of the less of the indie style high adventure, wasn't it? And more kind of, it felt more focused on, there was a bit of that. Obviously they were going through an ancient Egyptian tomb, and there was zombie-like creatures. So there was some degree of rip-roaring adventure to it. But
I felt it was like The Mummy, this one.
It was, very much so. Very much so. More than scene at the start of The Mummy where they're going through Imhotep's tomb and you get the scarabs and stuff. Yeah, it was very much aping that. But like I say, I did like the focus on the relationship between Layla and Stephen, really, which is continuing to grow. And we get a reveal halfway through the episode about Mark had been not directly involved, but he was present at the killing of Layla's father, which is kind of put a twist on their relationship, which I like. It was predictable. I could see that coming a mile off, but I think it has added a little bit of tension in their relationship, and I like that addition.
Yep.
To their relationship. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed this episode. It hasn't been my favorite one, I don't think. I'm trying to avoid talking about the ending until we've kind of got most of the other stuff out the way, because I think the ending did change a whole lot. I think I'm still not entirely sure what I understood what was happening, but
no, I'm with you there, Stu, because I really liked this. Apart from the first episode, which I thought was really interesting because it caught me and grabbed my attention. I really enjoyed this episode because I liked them being in the tomb. I liked that we had a bit of Stephen, we had a bit of Mark. I loved the creature in the tomb. I mean, what the hell was
the noise? Talking of satisfying noises, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The noise that thing made, what was it, like a...
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Yeah,
it's
very
really
creepy.
Yeah,
it was like a horror film, and it grabbed her a few times. And I really enjoyed the fight with Layla. Layla, is that her name? Yeah,
I believe
and
so.
the creature.
That's what I've been calling her anyway.
She pulled its arm off.
Yeah,
and it was trying to stab her with its shard bone out of its elbow,
stumpy bone.
And I like fights that are quite realistic occasionally, and I was like, yeah, I think she could have took that one-armed thing that fell apart quite easily. I liked Harrow just suddenly turning up. I liked the bit where she was trying to climb around the cliff face and jump over. That reminded me of, again, like the Mummy or the Mummy Returns, either film. I mean, they're the same.
Interchangeable, aren't they?
Yeah. And I like Stephen. I like Mark. I like both characters. I probably enjoy Stephen more, to be honest.
I've warmed to him a lot more. I like Stephen. I want to see more of. I get a little bit sad when Mark assumes the greater personality. I kind of miss Stephen to some degree.
Stephen kissed Layla, didn't? Well, she went to kiss him, and he backed off. And then Mark used the arm to punch Stephen.
Yeah.
And then Stephen told her that Mark was leaving her for a reason. He was admirable, wasn't he? He's clearly an admirable guy, Stephen.
Yeah.
And then he kissed her anyway. But yeah, I really enjoyed all of that stuff in the tomb. And then Mark/Stephen got shot, didn't he?
Yeah. So
which was a surprise.
It was. They both. Stephen and Mark end up finding the tomb, and it's
of Alexander the Great.
Indeed, yeah. And within his mouth is the little statuette of the god they're trying to find. I'm trying to scour the notes to see if it's mentioned anywhere, but I can't find it. But yeah, let's just say the evil. I assume they're evil. Spirit god that they were looking for. They find what they were looking for in the tomb, and at that point Harrow comes in. Obviously he's been using the little scarab compass, and he also finds the location of the tomb, of the sarcophagus, that's what it's called, isn't it? Where this treasure is lying.
So
and Harrow,
the scarab, did that direct him to the nude polo players in the previous episode to get the map? And then the map directed him to the next place. And did the scarab direct him towards the next? What does the scarab direct him towards?
I think it directs him towards the tomb. I forget why or how he ended up at the nude jousters.
Yeah,
but he did, because Stephen, Layla, and Mark went there because that was an alternative, wasn't it? That was an alternative way for them to find the tomb themselves. So I don't quite know why Harrow
He
was
did
there.
turn up there, didn't he? He did
He
turn
did.
up there, yeah.
But I don't think. Well, clearly that wasn't really clearly explained because neither of us know what happened there. But
Yeah, but I could have been drunk.
yeah, yeah.
What day was it on? What morning was it on?
Well, this comes out on Wednesday, so is that a
Wednesday
heavy drinking
morning,
day for you?
Wednesday morning, I was very, very, very
Hump,
drunk.
hump day. Yeah. So, well,
But still,
he gets shot. Harrow shoots Mark and Stephen.
yeah.
He kind of like descends into like this body of water, and he appears to kind of just fade out and die. But there's always this like kind of light in the middle of the screen, and it kind of like that light becomes brighter, and then all hell breaks loose in the sense of the narrative. Like Mark wakes up because Mark has assumed the character at the point of the shooting. Mark wakes up in a mental institution. And there's a lot of imagery around. Everything's pure white. It looks like very heavenly in how it's presented to us. It's given
And
that
we
impression.
We don't see Mark at first, I don't think. It takes a bit of time to see Mark, don't we? We see other people.
Yeah, it's a lot of panning around the general residents of the institution. Some of which, and this kind of plays into a lot of the imagery that we see in the institution. Is that the right word to use? Institution. I'll go with it.
Yeah, I don't know anymore.
No. But like this kind of imagery that Mark has seen during his, our previous time with him, like kind of he's watching a film of like an
That's
Indiana
where it goes
Jones.
straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It goes straight to a film called
I forget what it's called.
It's called Stephen. It's his name, isn't it? Stephen.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's got his name, Stephen Grant. Is it Stephen Grant? And he's an adventurer. And also, did you notice how the aspect ratio changed in that film? So it went from widescreen.
That's interesting.
And then the aspect ratio changed to a 14 by
9. 14:9, yeah.
And I was watching it, and you go, hang on, the acting's bad. And the set's crap. What's going on here?
Well, do you think that's why he has a bad English accent? Because
that's what he's got, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got his name.
Yeah. So, there's little clues like that dotted around this scene that we get, this 5-10 minute scene.
You also see the woman from the museum, don't you?
You do, yeah. Layla's there as well, isn't he, as one of the patients?
Yes, yeah.
The guy who was the gold like performer on the streets of London. He was there.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah,
it's a beautiful scene actually because it's all like one shot as well. Like as you're panning through the mental, I call it the mental house. I feel like I'm labouring on the point of what I should call it, but I don't want to be disrespectful. The institution. It pans through and you're seeing these people that we've seen previously, like I say, and little clips of. And Harrow's there. Harrow's like he's like the head of the institution, and he has a cane. Obviously looks similar.
He's got a tash.
He does, and
he's the main therapist there, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, and then I kind of forget. I was in such awe of what happened at this point.
He's chatting to Mark.
Yeah.
And then Mark decides to escape and he beats up the orderlies. I think he bites a woman and punches out a bloke.
Yeah.
And smashes the door and runs off down the corridor, and he sees a sarcophagus.
Oh, he does, yes.
And
inside, who do we have inside? Stephen. So we have the two separate identities have come together in whatever this is.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I've been reading like certain theories about what it is, but I still don't think I understand, having read the the explanation.
They run down the corridor as well.
They do.
And they see another sarcophagus banging, and they don't open that one, do they?
Yeah.
Which I think arguably could be this other identity that has been alluded to in a previous episode.
Yep.
And then they get into the corridor, these two Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
And who came out of the doors?
A
giant
Egyptian hippo god.
Yes, it was a hippo god. Who went, hello, had a weird, little woman's voice.
Yeah. I don't know.
And they screamed.
Does and it faded to cut to black. It's weird,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's I think what I love about this series so far is because I don't know. I don't know where it's meant to go. I have no frame of reference for anything, but I'm just going along for the ride, and it's just cracking good fun.
Yeah. I'm with you, Stu. Quite often with like WandaVision and stuff, I was watching other YouTubers, like lesser YouTubers than us,
Yeah,
break
quite.
down Easter eggs and things.
Mm.
With this one, I've chosen not to because I don't know the story of Moon Knight. I'm just going to discover it as we go. And I'm with you. I've got no idea why he's in a mental institution because a lot of TV shows at some point go to I'm going to use the word mental institution. I think that's what they're still called. I don't know. But like there's an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she wakes up and she's in a mental institution. There's an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine where Benjamin Sisko wakes up and he's in a mental institution. It is a trope of a TV show where is it all in their head? But this was so much so it was kind of weird. I'd like to think it's not just it's in his head or a dream. I'd like to think it was connected somehow rather than just was it in his head or was it not in his head? I don't know. It seems a bit more interesting than that.
Yeah, I have hope that it's a bit more nuanced than that, and I think it will end up being saying that. We've only got 2 episodes left, so they'll probably I don't know something. Yeah, they probably won't explain anything, but I can't. I'm not sure I want them to explain anything. You know, I like the fact that it's very much out there, and it kind of makes each episode unpredictable. Where you could argue that the previous 2 episodes have been very formulaic. You know, it was very much a globe-trotting adventure, wasn't it? And now it's kind of very starkly not that anymore. One assumes. So yeah, I think it's been great, really great. But yeah,
I'm with you. I thought it was a really good fun episode. This one.
It was 2 episodes to go. So again, going back to what we just said, not sure where the hell it's going to go.
No.
But my God, Jimmy, I'm along for the ride.
Yeah. And isn't it weird? Like we go, oh God, there's only 2 episodes left. How's it going to go? But 2 episodes is 2 hours.
That's true.
So that's enough for a film.
Yeah.
They could do a whole film in
good point.
2 episodes. So
yeah. Good stuff.
Stu, you're going to have to excuse me for 1 minute.
Yeah,
I'll
no problem.
in a second.
Sorry if you put that in the private chat.
No, I didn't. Actually,
okay.
I didn't. I just get in the call. But I'll be
you
back.
do what you need to do.
You Phil.
I will. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk about what I've been watching this week, and I'll kind of just. I think what I'll do whilst Jimmy is away is just give a. No, should I do that? No, I won't. What shall I talk about? Let's talk about. I'm not doing this very well. I'll tell you what, because I could do with a wee. To be perfectly honest, we'll do a. We'll be right back. I will just put up a little banner. Bear with me 1 second. A little ticker. And I will take this opportunity to empty one's bladder. Probably a bit for you, but bear with me. And we'll catch you. Brief break. We're back. Sorry about that. That's
What
the danger of
happened?
only having two of us, Jimmy. One of us needs.
Oh,
Well,
Christ!
I needed a wheeze, so I just put the ticker on.
Yeah.
As you can see, we'll be right back just to let people
No.
know. You know,
That's cool.
but I thought I was stumbling around and I was
Oh,
failing at filling. To be honest,
I'm so sorry, everyone.
oh, that's all right.
I
That's
feel
okay.
bad now.
It's
What were
okay.
you talking about?
Nothing. That was it. I couldn't think of anything to say.
You should have just weed and just made the water noise, and we could have got 2,000 viewers.
Like Frank Drebin when he takes the
Yeah.
mic into the toilet with himself.
Wow. Well, there we go. What was we were moving on to what we've been watching, were we not?
Yeah, we were. And I'll let you go first. You know, I think that's only fair.
Why? Do you need another wee?
No, I'm good.
Right. Okay. Cool.
What have you been watching, Jimmy? What are you bringing to the table for us this week?
Well, what I tried to watch, Stu, was what we agreed to watch, which was
yes.
Spencer, the film about Princess Diana, starring Kristen Stewart.
Indeed. Yeah.
Is it Christian or Kirsten?
Kirsten. I don't know.
Kristen Stewart.
Alexa. Oh no. Who are you?
Now, we had agreed to watch this, Stu, so I presume you watched it.
Yep.
Yep. And obviously our good friend Seddon said it was a good film.
Yep.
And she was good in it. And the wife went to bed, so I went, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. And I managed, what did I text to you? 25 minutes, I think.
It went long.
No, I messaged you during it, didn't I? Now, I could see what Seddon thought. Well, I could see how Seddon would like it because I could see how it looked amazing. It looked incredible. The score was amazing. The directing was amazing. How it moved was amazing. But just watching her, Kristen Stewart, playing Princess Diana, going, well, I don't know where we're going to go. Everything was like that. It was so annoying. But I think Harry and Will should go and say, and it was, and I watched 25 minutes and I was out.
Tapping out.
I even put 5 minutes on for the wife, and she went, "Please turn it off. I can't watch Kristen Stewart doing this because she seems so uninterested in everything she does." So I turned that shit off, and I put on Better Call Saul.
Yeah, a palate cleanser if ever there was one.
More than a palate shower. Better Call Saul. Stu, are you a fan of Breaking Bad?
Do you know what? I'm not. I've tried on many occasions to try and get into Breaking Bad, and I don't know whether. Sorry, no, I did try. Perhaps I should try again. I don't know, but I.
How far did you get in series 1?
Like halfway through.
Wow.
Interesting. It just doesn't. I don't know.
For me, if episode 1 doesn't get you, I mean, it starts off with Malcolm in the Middle's dad in his pants in the middle of the
indeed it does.
New Mexico desert. Like, if that doesn't get you, I don't know what does. But okay, well, it doesn't matter. Not everything's for everyone. I mean, you're the 0.1%. But Breaking Bad, 5 seasons, Vince Gilligan. Then we get Better Call Saul. There's been 5 seasons. It's the prequel to Breaking Bad, but also along with, at the start of a good few of the episodes, is in black and white, and it's after Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
This is season 6. They brought out the first 2 episodes back to back. Now, season 6 of Better Call Saul runs concurrently with season 1 of Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So they've met up. The prequel and the original have met up. That hasn't become apparent yet, but I know that's the case, and I know Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul have signed up to reprise their characters.
They're going to be in it, aren't they?
Yeah, for season 6. These first 2 episodes for me were amazing. Like, so good. I was trying to tell my wife about them earlier, and she said, "Well, there's something for you to talk about on the podcast. Stop talking."
This sounds like a conversation you should be having with Stu.
Yeah, that was it. They were so good. And do you know what it made me think was, I've watched so much TV over the last couple of years, because I don't think the previous season of Better Call Saul must have been about 2 years ago. I certainly think the pandemic must have slowed it down, because I've watched a lot of TV and a lot of films since then. And certain things like Moon Knight, I've gone, well, this is good. This is good. And even other things that I found watchable. And The Mandalorian, I thought this was good. This was good, which I still think is good. Better Call Saul, first episode, second episode, I watched it and went,
yeah, gotcha. This is
what TV can be. Just like a lot of the original Game of Thrones stuff, and for me, Breaking Bad. I apologize, Stu, if you haven't managed to get into it. Just every shot, every camera angle is intentional. You know, the first shot could be the camera on the floor in the street or in the desert or whatever, with someone walking towards it. And then it might flip up to a cactus and there's a fly landing on it and you're seeing someone blurred, and then it'll come back to their face. And you're like, wow, whoa, like the artistry that's in the filming of this show, the same as Breaking Bad, is incredible. You know, a shot from within a bin where something drops in the bin, and that's the first shot.
Is it the same production team, like I assume it's a mixture of directors that were on Breaking Bad, like most TV shows are, but like stylistically, are they very similar? Yeah,
absolutely. I don't always follow who's directed which episode.
No, I don't think I do, to be fair.
But definitely the style is constant.
Yeah.
And you know, just suddenly it might start on a person's shoes, or a shot of three characters might be set again, as I say, like from the ground, and you're looking up at them, and it just makes it interesting to watch rather than just a 2-shot or a 3-shot. Stylistically beautiful, acting brilliant. Bob Odenkirk back as Saul Goodman is so good. And then you've got Giancarlo, can't remember his full name, but the guy who plays Gus Fring. You got Mike back. It's brilliant. It's so good. It's intense. They build up the intensity of a scene, and again, you watch that, and there's one scene where they're building up this intensity, and it harkened back to Breaking Bad in one of the episodes where Walt is trying to plant a bomb and blow someone up. And it takes minutes, and there's loads of shots of just someone looking around, and then back to him, like waiting with the bomb, and then back to him looking around. And is he going to go to the car where the bomb is? And is he not? And the music and everything. And, you know, you compare that to something like Book of Boba Fett, for example, where the Rancor just comes in and smashes up the, you're like, Jesus Christ. It's really intelligent, beautiful stuff. So I highly recommend Better Call Saul. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad and you haven't watched Better Call Saul, you must. Stu, I'd love you to be able to get through Breaking Bad.
You know what it is? I think sorry, Jimmy, to cut you off.
No, go.
I think a lot of it. I mean, we spoke about like being intimidated with like Marvel stuff, and I don't know if it was just having like 5 seasons of stuff to plow through that kind of put me off the work required to do that. I don't know. That takes a bit of dedication to do, doesn't it? But if I'm saying that, the seasons aren't particularly long, are they? On Breaking Bad, I mean. I don't know.
I think they're 12 episodes, something like that, 10 episodes. I get that, Stu, because I haven't finished The Sopranos yet, and in my head I sort of go, oh, I just want something easy to watch.
I think that is it as well. I mean, you're mentioning how like stylistic and artistic this stuff is, with like the shots and like how they're using audio and visuals to like ramp up tension and create a mood. Yeah. And something like that really kind of it's quite not grueling, but it takes some You've got to concentrate on it. It's not something you can just let wash over you and go on Twitter or whatever it is you do.
Yes,
As
absolutely.
a society these days, we're not particularly trained for a show like that anymore, are we? And you kind of get out of practice of doing it. It's strange.
No, I'm completely with you, because when it came out previously, I heard about it from a friend of a friend. He told me about this amazing show where the dad from Malcolm in the Middle was a chemistry teacher who is dying of cancer, so he needs to get money. And I was single at the time, living in London. I was like, what? And he becomes a heroin. I'm like, this sounds incredible. And he's like, yeah, it's amazing. And I watched it, and because I was single, I could blitz through it. And then because I blitzed through the season 1 or 2, when the next season's coming out, you're like, yes, I can't wait for this now.
Yeah.
But yes, now starting a big series like this, I can see when you've got kids or just limited time and you enjoy just playing games or letting things wash over to you, it can be hard. That said, I still stand by that Breaking Bad is the best TV show ever made, because it's very funny, Stu. Loads of it's really funny. And Bryan Cranston is one of the best actors. And
it sounds worth the investment, certainly, from what you're saying. That's what I'm getting from you.
And Better Call Saul, maybe it took a little bit to find its feet, but it was still there anyway because of who was behind it and who was in it. And it probably only took a little bit of time to find its feet because you missed Bryan Cranston as Walter White, which was just one of the best performances of all time. But Breaking Bad Series 6, all out on Netflix. Get involved. So good.
That's really, it's lovely to hear someone talk like positively about something they're passionate about. And sometimes you need a show, something like that, to kind of just remind you. I guess it's going back to what you're saying about, this reminds you what good TV should be like. The opposite also happens. Like, you'll watch something so shit that it makes you appreciate the mediocre stuff a bit more, I think. And I have watched said shit.
Is this what you've been watching, Stu?
It is what I've been watching. This is what I'm bringing to the table. I've watched Choose or Die on Netflix. It's at time of watching it, it was the number 1 film on Netflix. And you know what? We have a history of bad mouthing some of the tut that gets put up in those rankings. They're not like the greatest hallmark of quality, are they? No. So Choose or Die is it's a British horror film, which sadly, it's British producer, directed by Toby Meakins in his first directorial debut. It stars Asa Butterfield, Lola Evans, Eddie Marsan, and Rupert Englund, believe it or not. Only the voice of Rupert Englund.
Well, Eddie Marsden's wonderful actor. Yeah,
he's not particularly in this.
Is he not? Because he's from things like, I mean, he's in what's the End of the World? Is that the last one in the Cornetto trilogy?
Is he in that?
Eddie Marsden, and he's in Hancock, where he plays the villain. I'm not listing his best things. He's in something at the moment called like The Husband, the Wife, and the Canoe.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that thing on ITV. Is he in that?
Yeah, that's supposed to be really good. Actually, maybe we should watch that.
The guy who fakes his own death.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
And you've got the chap from Sexy Time with Kids. What's it called? That show I really like. Sex Education? Is that what it's called? He's from Ender's Game and stuff. He's got blue eyes, and he's in Spider-Witch Chronicles. Is that his name?
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
The boy in the striped pajamas he was also in.
Yes, incredible film.
Yeah. And
so this sounds really good.
It's not. It's shit. It should be really good. British filmmaking is usually a sign of quality, kind of craftsmanship.
You love British. You love British.
Keep it British. But no, this is. Let me tell you what it's about. It's basically it's like Jumanji. Okay, right. So this there's a video game, like an 80s video game, that has been constructed, and when people play it, when they're playing it, it's like a text adventure. You know those games where you can type in what you want to do, like go left or eat apple kind of thing.
Yes.
very retro. Well, people played a game. It's said that it came out and there was a prize. I think it's like a £250,000 prize if you complete the game. And our lady protagonist, I guess it's going to be Lola Evans as the actress. She, she's in a bit of strife. Her mum is ill. She's kind of behind on the rent. Things are going bad in her life, and she says, she finds her friend, played by Asa Butterfield, finds this tape in, I think it's like a garage kind of clearance thing, a house clearance. He finds this tape, and together they think, well, let's give this a go. Let's play this. We might be able to win.
Mm-hmm.
They phone a phone number, and what you meant to phone this phone number once you've completed it, and on the end is Robert Englund saying, "Well done for completing Cursor," which is the name of the game. Cursor. Type in a 4-number code, and you see if you've won your £250,000.
Right.
So that's a poor Robert Englund impression. I appreciate, but
no, it's okay.
So they dial this number and they say, well, this must be real. Let's give this a go. Let's see if we can win the money. And Lola Evans, she begins to play the game one evening in a bar, because they were meant to meet up together, Asa and Lola, and do the game together. But Asa turns her down. There's like a love interest thing going on there between the two. So she cracks on with the game anyway, and it's, as the name suggests, Curse, CURSR, Cursor, a play on the word curse. It is a cursed video game. So you are making decisions in the game. Like it will say, I don't know, or in this instance, it was get the waitress to eat some glass. And you say, you have to make a choice. And it says, choose or die. If you don't make the choice,
you choose.
You do. You have to make the choice in the game.
It's interactive.
It is.
Right.
The game is kind of changing reality around you. So whatever you choose in the video game, the 80s kind of text adventure, happens in real life.
Right.
And it's just, what I didn't like about it, is the fact it feels like it's kind of trying to do a Stranger Things, but do it badly. It's trying to capitalize on like 80s nostalgia, particularly like British 80s nostalgia. There's a lot of Commodore 64s and, cassette games on a cassette that you have to put in and play it that way. So that, there's a lot of that kind of imagery. It's not set in the 80s, but, obviously it's there's a lot of imagery inspired by it. Like, just the way that the game is presented and stuff. And I don't know, it just feels cheap. It feels like it doesn't earn it a great deal. That coupled with just like poor acting. There's a scene at the very end where our mate Eddie Marsan, there's a scene where Lola kind of confronts him and says, "Fuck the 80s." And then he just turns around and says, "What? Fuck the 80s." It's bizarre.
I mean, I agree with him, but
yeah, but it's just the way that I know. But it's just the way it's presented. It's not a particularly well written film. It's not well acted. It descends into absolute farce to the point where I don't understand what is going on at the end. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but if you can come back to me and explain the ending to me, I'll be very grateful. But yeah, it's trying to do something clever, but it fails miserably. And there's not even like any kind of shining light in there that I can kind of gleam onto. It's not so bad that it's good. It's just every part of it is just a subpar, It's a shame because it could be an interesting kind of conceit, really, but I don't know. It's
Stu.
Yes,
it's an interactive film, right? Is that right?
No.
You don't choose
what the viewer doesn't choose. The person who's playing the game chooses what happens.
Oh, I thought you chose.
No, it's not one of the Netflix interactive films. No. No, Jimmy. I'm sorry if that's how I've presented it. No, it's not. It's
it wasn't just how you present it. No, because someone said it's like 5 hours of film, but into like 1.5 hours. So it's not.
Oh, that was Seddon, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. From that and what you sort of said, I was like, it's a choose or die. You like the New Day versus the Undertaker.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Bumberdash or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, the Charlie Brooker show, the
Yeah.
Charlie Brooker film.
No, it's. I think what Sidon was trying to say, and I agree with him, is the fact that it's only 1 hour 25 minutes. You know, obviously you got to factor in like 10 minutes of credits in there, so it's not a long film, but it feels so long, just in how like poorly
Oh,
paced and act. It's a
you don't choose.
No, the person playing the game within the narrative of the film makes the choices. But that's another thing. Like, yes, the choices are ultimately horrific because someone usually dies, but just the way that they die is just so unimaginative. Like someone just eats glass and somebody just dies, but because like VHS tape just starts coming out their mouth. It's ridiculous. Not, you know, you want like inventive. Like if you're watching the Final Destination film or something like that, you want you know, funny, grisly deaths, you know, with a bit of gore in there. But these are just like damp squibs. It's just nothing really particularly shocking happens. It's just you end up laughing at it, not being shocked or surprised.
Yeah, that sounds like, and that's why I thought it lent itself to the interactive, because you could choose how you wanted to see them die.
It probably would have been better as an interactive film.
Ultimately, I was going to ask you the question: do you think these old interactive films are any good? Because that's where I thought we were going with it.
Because do you know what? What was the one that was on Netflix that was very much like this? You know, it's set in the 80s. Oh God, what was that called?
Was that the Charlie Brooker one?
I think it was, because that was really good.
It was called Bumberclud, or what was it called? Bumperland, Boulder Dash.
Yeah, it was something like that, and that does something very similar, but much better, because you've got that kind of another layer of kind of the interactivity is kind of, I don't know, it's a more nuanced layer that they put on top of it. You know, more of a meta textual layer that was quite interesting, I thought, because you were almost playing the game that they were designing at the time. This probably would have suited that, to be honest. But no, the way they've done it is
I guess
horrendous.
that must be why I thought that's what type of film it was.
Very similar, Jimmy.
And what you had said, and even the title, Choose or Die, and it being on Netflix, and I watched an interactive new thing on Netflix with my son the other day. He was watching it in bed, called Attack Kitty, and it was about this little cartoon kitten fighting bosses, and you could choose what it did.
Okay.
And I watched one with my wife the other day, which was a cartoon about a cat trying to rob a museum. What the hell was that called? Can't remember. But it was, you had lives and you had to get through the museum and steal a piece of art. And it was, the animation was like close to Tom and Jerry, but a bit further on, more like Sylvester sort of stuff.
Oh God, where's Jimmy gone? Oh no, the Netflix ninjas have got him.
No, I'm here.
There he is.
I'm here.
Hello,
Right,
Jimmy.
So those interactive things, they can be kind of fun, but ultimately, I do sort of go, I'd play a game if I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Just give me a film.
Just play a video game. Yeah. Be one or the other. Don't be both.
I got onto that because I thought that's what this is, but as you say, maybe it would have lent itself to it.
It's an interesting discussion, because I quite like those. The Bear Grylls ones are quite good. Benjamin likes those, where you're going through a survival scenario and you have to choose whether Bear Grylls eats the bugs, or I don't know, jumps off a cliff or something like that. And they're quite interesting, because they often teach you stuff as well about survival skills and just stuff about nature and stuff. So but I think you're right. Just pick one medium or the other. Don't try and mix the two.
Yeah, because I've watched the Bear Grylls one, and ultimately I'd want to see him do both things.
Yeah,
I want to see him do both horrible
and jump off.
Yeah,
come on.
I want to see both the horrible things. Don't give me the choice. No.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like a bad film, Stu. I'll avoid it. Yeah.
I would, yeah. Like I said in the chat to you, I think I would. I think I wish I'd chosen death, to be honest. But no, it's quite a sad state of affairs that It's number one in the Netflix charts. But yeah, it's you do need to watch some shit to appreciate the good, sometimes. But yeah, I would avoid Choose or Die if I were you.
Yeah, and I'd avoid Spencer.
Yeah, but watch Better Call Saul.
Yes.
Yeah. There are recommendations for the week.
To not watch stuff.
Oh, there we go. That was our Week in Geek. Thank you, Jimmy, for bringing along what you did. Much appreciated. At this point, we delve into our continuing scientific experiment, and I think it is particularly scientific, where we try to decide whether the past can indeed make us laugh.
Can the past still make us laugh?
Jimmy, our weekly segments where you bring to the table a comedy show of yore.
Yes.
Something from the past, comedy related, a comedy show or whatever.
From the vaults, Stu.
Yes.
From the vaults. And yes, this has been an interesting week because we've had 3 episodes of this new regular section of the show, Can the Past Still Make Us Laugh?
Yeah.
We've had Fry and Laurie, we've had Not the 9 o'clock news, and last week we had Russ Abbott, which interestingly enough was probably the funniest one we've had so far, wasn't it?
Did not see that coming, Jimbo.
No, that was an absolute corker. And we discussed maybe we should try and pit some things out there that
challenge us. Challenging watches.
Yeah, and not so much, they're evil or anything, but you wouldn't put it out today because it would get slaughtered immediately. So I looked for a lot of different things. Again, I looked at a lot of Love Thy Neighbor, because I think there is comedy in there, but I think I need to know more about the backstory of those actors involved and how that sort of all worked.
Yeah.
But this week, I have brought to the table a scene from the show Till Death Do Us Part, which was the sequel to In Sickness and in Health, starring Alf Garnett, starring the actor Warren Mitchell, who is...
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with this tonight. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay. No, don't worry about it. No one's watching. So, Warren Mitchell, the Australian actor who was in like his 40s, played the character Alf Garnett, a racist West Ham supporter in London, plays a Londoner, a character who's supposed to be, I think, in his 70s, and that's how he managed to play the character for so long, because they had bloody good makeup back then. But yes, and this is a scene where Alf Garnett has lost his wife, and he goes to the corner shop, and I thought this could be an interesting one because yes, there's some trigger warning, there's some sensitive language in this. But hey, let's see if see how we get on.
Okay, here we go. So it's unmute, and let's crack through this. This could be bad. This could get us banned from YouTube.
Yeah. It could go really wrong, but
it could. Oh well, we've had a good run. We've had a good run. Okay, let's watch some Alf Garnett if we have to. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Garnett, hello. I'm just saying to Marigold.
Hey, less of the Marigold. It's Winston, if you don't mind. All right? Gongadin.
Oh, days.
Yeah, it starts.
Where have you been? I'm sorry I couldn't make it this morning, Buana, but I had to go to Heathrow, meet my cousin.
Oh, bloody marvellous. They're flying them in now. What's the hurry? Couldn't you get on a banana boat?
He's fixed himself up with a job. I had to go and meet him, show him his dig.
Oh, blimey, 4 million unemployed. They're flying his cousin in. What's he, a brain surgeon?
Bricklayer.
A bricklayer? Has he got his own odd?
He likes to fly. I like to fly. I fly whenever I can. I flew up to Manchester when West Ham played up there. I flew up to Liverpool with them. I fly to a lot of away games, I do.
Marvellous. A jet setters working for the local council now. Half ounce of St Bruno.
Hey, Mrs. Ollenbury smells that. You won't be safe. You'll be in for a hot pain.
Oh, yeah. And if the coppers smell what you're going to be smoking, mate, you'll be in for a long time.
Mr. Garnett, I'm very, very sorry to hear of the loss of your wonderful good lady. Sorry business.
Yeah, well, happens to all of us, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. But it was a very sad loss to me.
It's a very sad loss to me, mate.
Oh, yes. But I have lost a very good customer.
And I have lost a very good wife.
Oh, yes. But it was a bad blow to me. Her going like that, so sudden.
It was a very bad blow to me at all.
Oh, yes, very bad blow. But it has done me no good, her going like that, so sudden.
What do you mean?
Well, she went owing me a few pounds.
That's a nice thing to say.
I'm not saying anything.
Not saying anything? Bringing that up, maligning the woman, now she gone?
Marigold, I am not maligning her. I'm not saying anything against her. All I am saying is, if Mrs. Garnett had gone on Saturday instead of Wednesday, I'd be all right. Because you see, she always paid me Friday.
Look, I don't suppose she wanted to go on Wednesday. I dare say if she'd had her way, she'd have preferred to wait till Saturday.
Or even longer.
If I'd had my way, she wouldn't have gone at all, because I'm the one who's in a mess with that bloody thing living upstairs to me. I mean, you don't think she went on a Wednesday just to do you out of a few quid, do you?
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, it has cost me money.
It's cost me money, Sabu. It's cost me her pension and what you got for sitting in that wheelchair of hers.
Yes, I'm sure. But her going on Wednesday is no good to me. It's just my luck.
Just your luck? What about my bloody luck? You shut up!
Oh, my God, I am not blaming her. Mrs. Garnett was a very good customer and a very good payer. All I am saying is, he knows. He comes into the shop. He takes the groceries. Put them on the slate. Mrs. Garnett will pay you later.
And she did. She always paid you.
Not now. She cannot pay me now. That is what I am saying, Sambo. This one orders. This Marigold orders. Put on the slate, put on the slate, put on the slate. And then she passes on.
But it's not my fault, is it?
But I'm not saying it is your
But why
fault.
are you telling me then?
What does Mr. Garnett owe you?
Mr. Garnett don't owe nothing. Mr. Garnett owes for this tobacco. That's all Mr. Garnett owes for.
Well, what Mrs. Garnett owed?
What Mrs. Garnett owed, Mrs. Garnett owed.
I'm thinking this will happen.
It's all very well you come along saying my missus owed you money. I mean, God, bloody, where's your proof, eh? I mean, any old Tom, Dick, Harry come knocking in the front door saying your wife owes the money, especially if she's passed on. She's not there to deny it to the face. What proof have you? That's what I'm talking about. Proof, mate. Bills. Bills, mate. That's what I want to see is bills signed. Bills and statements. Signed statements with signatures on them, John. That's how we do business in this country, John. Signatures, not by ESA. I'm going to take my custom elsewhere from now on. From now on, I buy British.
What do you think I am? Bleeding Japanese?
Yeah, that. Do you know?
I'm laughing more at you than
No, I think. Do you know? Somewhere in there, there's a very kind of tragic character, isn't there, in Alf Garnett? Particularly in that scene where he's, you know, we're talking about, you know, the loss of his wife, and it's clearly affected him. It's just that they, you know, some of the stronger words that they're using there really kind of take away from
what
would be quite a sad scene, really. You know, it didn't add that kind of language. Didn't add anything, did it? If anything, it just make you revile it and just not want to engage with it. Whereas I think that's a shame because outside of all that, there is something there quite interesting. But yeah, it has aged terribly, hasn't it? And that probably wasn't that long ago. I don't know what early 90s are we talking?
What, Garnet? No, that would be 80s.
Do
Easily.
you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Stu, I 100% agree. I think that scene, the context of that scene of a shopkeeper saying, "I'm very sorry for your loss, but she owes me money," is hilarious.
Yeah.
And and all of them with regards to acting is fine. The shopkeeper, I think, is good. Warren Mitchell as Alf Garnett, I think his acting is brilliant in that scene. The concept and a lot of the lines are fucking brilliant. I think it's hilarious, but it's all the little racist jabs. You could have got rid of all of those.
They had nothing.
It's all irrelevant. It's all irrelevant. But back in that time, obviously those little racist jabs to each other got laughs, so they put them in. Whereas now, well, they were never good. You know, they were there because of that's what they thought was funny. But the actual scene itself, I think, is really a very funny concept where your wife owes us money, and I do think Alf Garnett as the character and Warren Mitchell's acting is brilliant. He seemed genuine as a widower.
Yes,
Furious with the fact that this shopkeeper is saying that it's a loss for me, and him going, "Well, it's a bloody big loss for me. How dare you say this sort of stuff?" And
there was a moment there where, you know, when they first start talking about his wife, and like Alf, like the tone in his voice drops, and you know he becomes for a second, like 1 or 2 seconds, you know, you get a little window into just how he's feeling. You know, really kind of solemn and down as you would be, but then he'll just come back with that whole moment is ruined by something he calls the shopkeeper or the gentleman with him as well, you know, next to him. It's
well, and the shopkeeper calls Winston.
Oh yeah,
yes, terms as well.
There's no hero in this.
And Winston calls the shopkeeper. He calls him Gungadin. I think I'm presuming is a racist term at that point. You know, lots of racism going back and forward between all of them. So I guess maybe there was that sort of thought that, well, everyone's giving each other something,
makes it okay.
Yeah, ultimately, Alf Garnett's the one being wronged, isn't he? So he's coming off as the one that's the right one. And I think there's that scene has got loads of comedy in it. The idea of that scene is, I think, is brilliant. And Warren Mitchell and the shopkeeper's acting, I think, is brilliant. Hilarious that he's trying to compete with Alf Garnett. It's more of a loss to him.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
Some money, exactly. The core of that concept is it's a funny conversation to be having. You can get humour from that.
Yeah,
it's
it's the language, and also it's the fact that he's I think he's an Indian guy. The shopkeeper is Indian, I think. So there's connotation. Well, the Indian shopkeeper trying to get a bit of money.
Yeah.
So there's issues there. Whereas if it was 3 people of the same ethnicity in the same scene, there's huge amounts of comedy to be had in just the actual context of the scene. But they threw all the racially charged crap in it because that was the time to do it. But
and that's sad, isn't it? It's sad that was acceptable at the time, and that it got laughs. And that was some of the bigger laughs from the scene as well. That's what it felt like anyway. That's kind of where a lot of the audience reaction, not my personal laughs, the audience who were, or the pre-taped audience or whatever it was, the canned laughter, that's where most of the reactions came from. Was those moments of racist language.
Yeah, but the comedy from the scene is the shopkeeper saying it's a bigger loss for
Yeah.
him than the man who's lost his wife.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
brilliant concept.
It was.
But
Yeah. Has the past made us laugh there? I don't know. It would have done if it didn't then just stab us with those jibes.
yeah, because I laughed at the bits that you should. That you can laugh, not that you can laugh at, that you should laugh at because it's good comedy. But then there's, as you say, there's all the horrible sort of, and this isn't even as bad as we can go in British comedy. You know, there's so much more worse things than that in this day and age. I watched this and I thought, do you know what? I think there's comedy in there, but we wanted something that maybe we thought
was challenging.
Yeah.
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 An interesting experiment because I think it hasn't been as cut and dry as I thought it would be. I was expecting to say, no, that's just wrong. That's rubbish. It didn't make me laugh, but it hasn't been like that. Obviously, we are revulsed at the stuff that we should be revulsed at because it's abhorrent and language that shouldn't have been used then, shouldn't be used now. Yeah. But within that, there is, a layer of comedy outside of that language that they're using that it works. It is funny.
Well, also, I thought you've got three good actors playing their parts well, from three different ethnicities in a scene together. So you sort of go, well, that's a good thing. And as I said to you, when I was looking at the Love Thy Neighbor stuff on YouTube, which is so much worse than that. And I was reading comments from people of of different color, black people and stuff, sort of going, when we were young, we found all this very funny, and it was actually a way for us to communicate with other ethnicities. So we can only look at it from a certain point of view, can't we? We can only look at it from our white, privileged, white guilt point of view, where we go, that's wrong. We can see it's wrong, but there might be someone else from a different point of view going, I don't care about that. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? And I guess that's what comedy is, isn't it? Yeah. It's always someone who's going to be offended. Even these days, I might say, even these days, loads of people these days, probably more these days than probably 10 years ago. It's hard to see where to be offended. Obviously, there's things in there that are not good. So it's easy to see
of course,
where we should be offended. But sometimes it isn't easy to know where you should
be indeed.
Because of the worldview, or not even the worldview, because of 100 people's view.
A vocal minority.
Yeah. You go, oh, shit, those people were offended. So that shouldn't make us laugh. But as we say, with that Alf Garnett sketch, obviously there's things that you go, that's not the way. Those things weren't even needed. They weren't funny.
I agree.
Were they? They weren't funny. They were probably funny in the day because people thought they were funny, but they're not funny. Whereas the actual concept, I think, was funny.
Yeah, I think you're right. And this has proved an interesting experiment. And I like challenging ourselves and having these conversations because, it's having these debates is how we learn and discuss things and air our opinions. So I'm all for it. I'm all for more of this material of this nature, assuming that it doesn't get banned from YouTube, of course.
Oh, it's getting much worse. Next week we've got Al Jolson, Al Jolson stuff. Well, also, obviously, the problem is it's two white guys making comments on old British comedy, and a lot of old British comedy has racism in it. Even things like Only Fools and Horses.
It's funny you mention that because as I was watching that scene we've just watched, I was kind of thinking about Fools and Horses. It just popped into my mind, and only because I think the actor that played the shopkeeper, I'm sure he's in an early episode of Fools and Horses where he's I think he scams the trotters. I think it's the one where they have the Indian statue and
Right.
It's one
Yeah.
of the
Good.
very early ones, and
Yeah.
you know, there's two Indian guys who were trying to kind of scam the trotters out of some money for owning these statues. But again, that's another kind of stereotype itself, isn't it? The evil outside other, you know,
Yeah.
trying to scam the good old trotter boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's rife, I think, in kind of
Yeah.
70s and 80s British comedy.
But you hope that in lots of those things, like with Del Boy, even though you want him to win, you can tell he's massively ignorant
Oh yeah,
in scenarios. So in any of his sort of racist sort of points, he's the fool, he's the buffoon, and surely that's a good thing. Like in Love Thy Neighbor, a lot of the time, these scenes I have been watching, the white guy who lives next door is the fucking idiot, and the black guy's the smart guy who, and like Rising Damp with Rigsby and Philip, but still, I know I'm coming from it at my perspective.
Yeah.
And you have to take on other people's perspective, i.e., people of color who are watching these things to go, well, that wasn't good for me because we got called whatever, and you go, okay, so on, okay, yeah, you got to get it, haven't you?
You have to. Of course you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We look at it a very privileged, safe viewpoint, don't we? So yeah, interesting, Jimmy. Interesting. I look forward to what you bring to us next week.
Told you, Al Jolson.
Of course, you did say
in complete blackface singing "Swammy River" or whatever.
Going for Hail Mary. Go big or go home.
Did the past make you laugh there, Stuart? Did a little bit.
It did. There was some comedy to be had there, but yeah, it did.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think there's probably a lot of comedies out there where you could take all the concepts, take the actual whole sitcom, and just adjust certain bits and go, now it's fine.
Yeah, it's palatable.
And well, not even palatable, probably good.
Yeah,
it's probably good stuff. You just take the racism out, and you go, yeah, that's good now.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you for that, Jimmy. Let's move on to some bird news. Let's start to wrap the show up, and I've got a bird news story for you. So join us for this. Bird news. Bird news. My bird news story for you this week is almost like a wrestling. It's like a wrestling kind of main event. I've called it Birdomania because it's quite a dust up between two. An angry greenfinch has picked a fight with the wrong bird.
Shut your beak.
Finch tried to square up to a dunnock only to be beaten at its own game. This is a vicious photo that I'm about to show you. Look at that. Get out of my face. I'm going to I'll claw it off. I just like the concept of like caged bird fighting. You know, I think there's some money there.
Well, there is in cockfighting.
Oh, of course there is.
You like a cockfight, Stu?
Yeah, I'm starting to like the concept. Yeah. Chaffinch fighting, or whatever this is. A bully greenfinch was beaten at his own game after squaring up to a smaller bird. A dunnock was perched peacefully on a branch before the finch approached and tried to pick a fight. Yeah. As the finch tried to peck at its rival, the small brown bird used its foot to slam its mouth shut. It's like a David and Goliath situation, or if we're thinking in wrestling terms, a giant Gonzalez versus a Rey Mysterio.
They say he was quiet. They don't know what he was saying. He might have been muttering stuff under his breath,
giving it all that, giving it all his beak. Yeah. Paul Sawyer, a 50-year-old photographer from Saxon. Oh, it's a Suffolk man. The dunnock was just standing on the fence, and the greenfinch approached the dunnock with its head down, wings up. Do you want some? Kind of doing it all out, isn't it? Open beak, which is a threat posture. And the dunnock faced the finch and crouched, ready to make a move. There we go. And the finch kept coming towards the dunnock, which stepped back to avoid the beak. With perfect accuracy and timing, the dunnock raised a foot and slammed it on the finch's beak, jumping up at the same time. It's like the crane kick from the Karate Kid.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
The finch then flew off with her tail between her legs, and the Dunnock retained its position on the fence. So that was the killer move. There he is, giving it the crane kick, claws to the face. Quite why this has made the Telegraph, I do not know.
I know it's only just made our show. You're right, though, Stu. That is great bird news.
I know. A dust up between
those pictures are beautiful.
I know. One for the ages. This one is, isn't it? It's like a Mania main event in the making.
Whoppa!
Yeah. Look at that determination in his eyes.
I like the fact that the evil bird has the colours of Cobra Kai as well.
Yes,
he's yellow and black.
Yeah, and white. The uniform of, I don't know, House Miyagi or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Jim Miyagi.
Have you not watched Cobra Kai yet, Stu?
I've seen the first 2 series. Really enjoyed it. Need to get back to that. I really do.
Yeah, Miyagi
Dojo. Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Beautiful bad news. That's my bad news. I've got some and finally stories for you.
Keep them coming.
And finally, I will keep them coming. This is an interesting one. Let me just share this tab for you. So there's, for some reason, they've who is it? Someone's conducted a survey. Let me see what it is.
It's not about sex robots again, is it?
It's not. No, it's sexual in nature. It's
what have I got to have sex with now?
a banana. Canadian. I mean, this is from the Toronto Sun, so there's a Canadian spin to this. So forgive me, but Canadian penises are the 12th biggest in the world, with the US coming up short at 59th.
Where are we?
Well, interesting question. So I just want to get to the crux of who
the crutch
who compiled this data.
Some bloke in a toilets at the local little chef.
I've just spotted the term Yankee Doodle Dinglings. That's great.
Stu, this is a great story. I'm excited about this, and I think we can do another hour on cock sizes.
I'm trying to find context for you, but
wow, whoa,
yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you because we do come at a special place.
Do we?
Yeah, I think a number that's kind of
you come at a special place. She's called Amanda, isn't she?
Okay, so this is one caveat. It's it's self-reported data, so people have given their own sizes. So read into that what you wish, but there's a whole league table of average male member sizes.
Wow.
The UK at the top being Ecuadorian winkies.
Interesting.
So what are we talking? What's that? 17.6. What? 17? That's sure that 6.93 inches. Are we talking? Do you reckon? I don't know what the percentage.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Right. I should have read the key, shouldn't I? So, okay, that's an erect length in centimeters. Jesus, that's magnificent.
What? Hang on, tell us. Talk us through it. Don't just picture them.
Okay. In my mind's eye. So the Ecuadorian average penis size is 17.61 centimeters. Erect. In at 2, we have Cameroon at 6.56 inches erect, which is a 9.75% of their height, average height. The big takeaway for us is the United Kingdom at number 66. As in 1966. It's like there's a real ring to it, doesn't it? We're obsessed with that number. 66, United Kingdom, we have an average erect length of 5.17, which is a 7.38%.
Down from the previous year.
We
can't be just above China.
But you can't blame anyone but ourselves. Because it's self-reported.
Stu, we need Alf Garnett on this.
So we're our own worst. Oh, we'd have a field day with this, wouldn't we? We're our own worst enemy. We should have fudged the figures a bit.
Self-reported. Yeah, bloody honest Englishmen. I don't think they were honest. I think we'd be further down, Stu.
Look at that. Germans beating us again.
Of course they will.
Number 39.
Well, height comes into it, doesn't it? For sure. Like the bigger the chap, the more they usually have.
Yeah, I mean, as you go up the table, the percentage of the height. So what is that? It's percentage of height. So that increases as you go up the table.
And the tallest people on the earth are the Dutch. Is that still the case?
I don't know. Well, shall we? Oh, yeah, well, they are in at number 7 on the cock charts.
And look, I don't want to bring race into this because Alf Garnett's gone, but usually, the statistic that I've heard is black guys have larger penises than white guys. That is statistically a fact from what I've heard from statistics. And you've got you've got those countries up there, Cameroon and Haiti.
Yeah, they're not hating it now, are they? They're up there.
Gambia. And look, but the Dutch, because the Dutch are a tall bunch, and if they had small willies, they'd look weird. The Dutch are a beautiful bunch. Well, Zambia. God, the Dutch have got themselves in there. Look, Zambia, France.
Yeah,
I'm not. Yeah, no, they've fudged their fucking. No way. The French are the same as us, aren't they? Come on.
Yeah, more or less. Where's Russia in all this? Russians.
Putin has completely brought up the averages.
They're not. I can't see them anywhere. Russia.
Why is this news, Stu? Why have you brought us the size of men's?
Did I just it piqued my interest?
It's fair enough. I think it is interesting.
Yeah.
I
can't see Russia on the list. There's let's see. Are they above?
No, because of steroids.
they go inwards.
They've been excelled. No, they've been expelled, like the Olympics.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
From the Toronto Sun penis scaling championships. They've been disqualified, and so they should.
I was just trying to see if they were in here, whether they were above Ukraine or not. Because that would be like the ultimate victory for Ukraine, wouldn't it?
Is that the ultimate victory of all?
Well, no, I guess surviving the war probably is, but this is some comfort. I would like to think. I can't see. I think you're right. I think they've been expelled, unless I'm misreading the figures. I can't see them anywhere.
Good. It is weird though, isn't it? And I apologise for anyone Chinese out there for saying we can't be below China, but again, the average. What I heard years ago was the average size of a white man's penis erect was 6 inches. A black man 6.5, an Asian man 5.5. That's what I saw, but I saw that online. I could be wrong, and as Stu, as we know, it's all about girth. Yeah.
The wider, the better.
Yeah, if you've got one like a sausage roll from a good quality deli,
you're in business. You are laughing all the way.
3 inches long, but like the circumference of a tiny basketball from JB Sports. You're in good shape.
My final and finally really does kind of cut to the heart of what we were talking about earlier about well, I don't know. It's linked to some degree.
Is this really our and finally?
Yeah.
Penis sizes of
this is the next one is.
Thank Christ. You can tell Sed and Lacey have gone because we could have never have brought up that story of them there. They'd be going, why has Stu brought up the penis size of men around the world?
Now I'm finishing on this. Diversity campaigners accuse black DJ of wearing blackface. No, it's not blackface. He's
Which one? Not the black guy.
Yes. Here we go. Stuart Roden and Jill Lasson complained after seeing images of Kim Coco Hunter at a 1970s themed parent-teacher association event at Phoenix Primary School. The pair are members of the school district equity and inclusion committee at Hopi Elementary School. So this is America. Bear that in mind, the stupidity of America.
Okay. I'm worried about this episode, Stu.
The Arizona Daily Independent report that Megan Livengood, the PTA president, wrote to them to say the man was in fact a black man. It's insulting that you feel myself or PTA condone racist behaviour or encourage it by posting on social media, she added. You're right. We should have inquired before making such accusations. People's just stupidity, and it just. I would like to think I'm surprised, but no, I'm not. I'm really not.
So, Stu, just so I can get this right, some people complained at a kids' school party, was it?
It looks like it. Like a PTA event.
Right, so Parent-Teacher Association, that the DJ was in blackface, but it was in fact a black man.
Yes.
In potentially wearing an afro wig, or it may have been his own hair.
Indeed.
It looks like a wig, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they complained.
They did.
And they went, he is black.
And they're members of the PTA. You know, these people are meant to be like upstanding members of society. Like, ridiculous.
God,
absolutely ridiculous.
Well, this is a big thing in the world at the moment of white people complaining about black issues.
Yes,
and
white privilege and all that kind of business. We
I was chatting to someone earlier, and I can't remember who the hell was I talking to, but he was speaking to a black friend of his, and he was talking about these sort of issues, and he was like, I don't care. And he was like, to be honest, I don't need to moan because there's loads of white people moaning on my behalf, and I don't really care anyway. It is a lot. This is where this term Karen has come from, isn't it? These Karens who, white middle class women complaining about stuff or moaning about stuff because they think they should, and actually sometimes they don't need to. It's a very, very complicated world at the moment.
It is. I was just the pure stupidity of it is what intrigued me, to be honest.
That's amazing.
What inspired me to share it with you all, and the fact they were meant to be, they are members of the PTA that made this accusation. It's a crazy world we live in, Jimmy. But hopefully, we this show can shine a beacon of light in the dark, depressing society that we do live in. I think we do that.
But I don't think it's that dark and depressing.
Do you not?
I think most people are okay. It's only loads of idiots online who moan, and obviously there's some terrible things in the world. That a lot of the government is fucked, and obviously, racism and war. There's a lot of bad things, but I think the majority of people are just trying to live and fine with anyone, and you crack on and just try and get on with your lives. And a lot of the time people keep ramming this shit down your throat going, you should think this, look at all this stuff that's going on. And it's like a small part of the world. And you go, well, we're all fine. Loads of, and maybe that's me being glib or small-minded, but I don't think it is, because I think there's more people that are okay sort of just trying to crack on than there are that are
the bad eggs.
Not just bad eggs, just moaning.
Just moaners.
Moaners. That's just, but I mean, there is terrible, and actually with things like racism, you look at Hollywood, they released those Star Wars posters, the prequels to China. And they know that there's a massive problem with racism in China. So Finn in the posters, who's, a black English dude, is shrunk to this size. Whereas in America and England and Europe, he's a big main character in a Phantom Menace. He's holding a lightsaber. And in China, they shrink. That's Hollywood. It's that sort of shit that does that crap. Whereas I think the majority of people in probably in this country are just trying to fucking survive. That's true. That's all life is, isn't it? Just trying to survive and just trying to be happy rather than worrying what color someone's fucking skin is. But people keep shoving it down your fucking throat, and you're just like, I don't care. Just fucking crack on. Just make movies. Just release things. Just stop banging on about stuff.
Let's just get to the end with as little fuss as possible and die, please. Yeah. Let's just crack on.
Yeah, just everyone be nice.
British way.
Crack on, yeah. Let's just like you in bed, Stu. Let's just crack on to the end before either of us die.
Let's hope it's as mundane as possible.
No, but Stu, I think
No
that's
excitement.
right?
No excitement.
We're all
No, there was a lot of truth
We're
there,
all
yeah.
the fucking same. Everyone just get on, and I think it is other people that push the shit down our throats that make us think other things. Where actually, if they didn't push that crap, we wouldn't have these thoughts in our head. It wouldn't matter. We could just all get on and go, yeah, we're all the same. Who cares?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like how big of a part does society play in informing someone's belief system, and how what they think as they grow up? Because there's that classic image of like a white child and a black child just coming together and just hugging and not really caring, like, or noticing the skin color. But then as society affects them, and there's different elements kind of affecting their lives as they grow up, and schools of thought and stuff, then that's when these certain kind of thoughts and opinions start to be formed. And it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely, of course. What you don't care as a kid, do you? It doesn't matter. But you said that was interesting. You said a white child and a black child. You didn't mention, a brown child or
true.
A Chinese child from Asia or whatever. And as I say, like this, how it is in China with leaving black people out of posters for Hollywood movies, they do, and gay people, like in the latest Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yes, they cut out that whole thing, the whole relationship, didn't they?
Yeah,
bizarre.
Which is bizarre because you can't speak for every Chinese person, but obviously in China as a culture, it's very, very different to ours. But they go, well, you cut that gay stuff out. China's the most people in the world in China.
Yeah, I imagine so. Like
billions.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there's one or two gay people in amongst the billion Chinese people, but they cut that stuff out. But in this country, we're all the racists, and it's like it's very, very confusing.
It is.
It's all the the agendas of people. And it's like let's just all get on.
Just crack on.
Just all get on, crack on.
This might become one of the lost episodes.
It may do.
It may do. Brought down by, I don't know, the man.
China. But I love the Chinese people. I love them.
Yeah.
I love everyone. I love fucking everyone.
We do. We like the Renaissance men. I mean, we are Renaissance men. We're cultured. We love everyone. And we love you, the viewers, of course. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you to, let me get up who's joined us this week. Thank you to Holly. Thank you to Midge. Thank you to Tom Rogerson. Thank you to C. Lovely to see you. Who else we've got? I think that's everything. If I've missed your name, I do apologise. But thank you for joining us, one and all. Had a great time, Jimmy, as always. What's left to say? If this is your first time joining us, then please do give us a like and subscribe. It always helps us to get our name on the algorithm and helps viewers like you and find this show, I guess. I don't know, it does something. It looks good. If those numbers go up, that's always good. Thank you, Jimmy, like I say, and until next week. Oh, actually, no, we should say no show next Friday, only because I'm off at my mum's. No, am I out? I can't. I'm doing something next Friday.
Yes, but what on the Saturday?
On Saturday, I'm seeing Jimmy. Yeah, Renaissance Men meet up. So that'll be nice. We'll talk about that afterwards. Actually, I'm looking forward to that.
We'll definitely, maybe during the week we'll release a little video of us.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Jumping around in the sand, swimming, splashing around in the water. No,
that'd be nice. The two great families meet, like in I don't know, The Godfather or something. But yeah, that's enough rambling. Until next week, thank you for joining us. Please take care and goodbye.